And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 195 of the Fake Nerd Podcast. The world is still on fire. Ken Branagh made a very foul movie, and we're going to talk about someone who dies, comes back to life, and wrecks people's shit. Hi, how's it going? I'm Ben Magnet.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
I am joined by, of course, my bros in this incredible journey of just, yeah, we'll get into it. Brandon T. McClure, Ryan James Eliopoulos, and
Leave the James out of it.
Ryan Eliopoulos, Esquire the Fourth.
RJ.
And of course, Sparks Whitty.
Hey.
I actually got to see Sparks in person for the first time in like 3 months earlier today. Yeah. That was nice.
That was nice. I remarked to Ben that we'd been together at the comic store for about 15 minutes today, and then we were walking out to the cars, and I was like, it just now hit me because I see you every week virtually, how special it is that we're in person right now, and I'm not used to it.
No, it was because right before I walked into the store, Megan was outside. She said hi, so I talked to her for a bit, and it was originally, because normally when I see one of my friends, I'm going to go over and give him a hug. And I had to stop, like, obviously 6 feet apart. I was like, I can't do that still. Yeah. I'm just going to stand here awkwardly.
You just give a salute and say, how do you do, partner?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. Ben was representing, by the way. He was wearing his Fake Nerd Podcast mask from Crafted by Z.
Oh yes. Those are still, great segue. Those are still available for Crafted by Z, made to order. The links are still in the description below. Cool. Okay, so what? Who wants to go about their week first?
Oh, I'll do it. You know what? It's not very long.
That's what she said.
You just jump in on whatever you were involved in. Megan and I watched all of Space Force.
Oh yeah, cool.
That was fine.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Find me one person who's not said the exact same thing.
So I'll tell you, because Megan and I talking about it, I think we worked out the specific problem with the show is that they want Steve Carell's character to be the straight man, but also incompetent, and that doesn't work.
Yes.
And you're right, Brandon. Like, all the family drama shit is the worst part of the show.
Yeah.
The worst part of the show.
None of that's even in the marketing.
I was okay until we hit the episode where it's entirely about that, when he goes for the conjugal visit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, you can't just do this whole episode and not tell us why his wife is in prison.
Yeah, we still don't know. That's
ridiculous, because they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know.
They haven't found a funny enough joke yet, I guess.
It's so, anyway.
About prison?
That show should be better.
Yeah, I mean, but that said, like, I liked John Malkovich, and I like the Asian guy, the Asian doctor.
He's underused because they make John Malkovich have to be the straight man too much. John Malkovich should be allowed to be out there, and Steve Carell should have to be the straight man.
Yeah,
and like I'll also say that I already just have a problem with the show because the show's point is to try to make Space Force justifiable. And I just fundamentally don't support that idea anyway in real life. And I wish the show treated it like most of the characters are aware it's a joke. But they don't do that. Steve Carell
in the beginning
acknowledges it as stupid.
Yeah.
And then he goes like hardcore 100% in on it. And that's part of what makes the show aggravating. There's one particular episode where they do a lot of like what the president wants them to do kind of thing, and how like the government just shifts money around and all that stuff. And I'm like, this is just depressing because it feels real rather than comedy.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what works against the show for me, just in general, because I wish they treated Space Force more like the ridiculous thing it is. And I wish that, what I really wish is that the science team on the show was trying to make it a scientific endeavor rather than a military one secretly.
Mm-hmm.
From the president. And I wish that was the show, because that would get me on board with rooting for their success, because I don't want to root for the success of Space Force. It's just a dumb idea. That being said, there's still good things in it, but it's definitely not the quality you expect from those guys.
Yeah.
It might be losing its name too in a hilarious stint against the government itself.
Yeah, we'll see.
I've continued watching some Craig of the Creek. I'm not caught up, but that show's awesome. I didn't really touch on it, which I should have, because when I brought up that I was re-catching up on Craig of the Creek. Craig of the Creek's really nice because Craig of the Creek focuses on the main character is just a normal black kid with an entirely like black family who are featured a lot, and it's just not. You think about it, and there has not been a Cartoon Network show that really had a black family at the core center. Cartoon Network, not Disney, and that's really nice. It's just really nice that that's there, and they do a lot of other great things for representation. But it's a good show. It's just a good show on its own. But I'm glad that it exists.
Nice.
We all read Wasted Space, Fake Nerd Book Club.
Yes, the Fake Nerd Book Club is up now, guys.
New show,
launched.
new show, new
And we'll talk
comics.
about that. I kept up with some of the Twitch protests. I rewatched with friends through Discord both Happy Death Days. Man, we did it. So we watched Happy Death Day, which was our plan, and we finished it. And everyone who hadn't seen it was like, "Can we watch the next one? Can we just turn on the next one now?" And so we just watched it. And I had not done them back to back. Flawless, those films.
They're apparently working on the third one.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
The scriptwriter said he is working on it because what else is he going to do in quarantine? So
I love it because it's going to be so. We are so far away. By the time the second one ends, you're so far away from the thriller.
It's escalated
killer
so far.
concept.
Yeah,
I'm so happy. We all fundamentally agreed that like you need the first one for the basis of the emotion, and like the first one's good.
Yeah.
But the second one is phenomenal.
Yeah.
What they do with it is so entertaining.
That actress is delightful.
So all of the people we were watching with who hadn't seen it, when we're booting it up, they're like, I assume this takes place on her next birthday, like a year later, and it opens up with the roommate waking up in the car, and they're like, oh, it's the same day?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And that was just the reactions. And then when there's it's great.
Yeah, that Happy Death Day.
Yeah. Those are
Worthwhile.
truly fun movies.
Yeah.
So much better than I thought they would be.
Horror Groundhog Day, but like truly the best version it could be.
Honestly, better than anybody thought they should be.
Yeah.
Right, 100%.
Written by Scott Lobdell.
If I knew they were that good, I would have seen the first one in theaters.
Yeah.
I did get around to seeing the second one because I got intrigued enough.
Yeah.
But if I'd known, I would have like gone to see that one so damn.
Did we watch it together before we saw it? Or?
We did. We watched.
Okay.
We watched the first one together because the second one was about to come out, and the trailer had made us all go,
Huh?
What's happening?
Yeah.
So that was all great. Definitely like a friend of the podcast, Pi. In the first one, there's the bit where she has the emotional meeting with her dad talking about her mom, and the scene ends, and Pi's like, I didn't think this movie was going to make me cry.
Yeah.
And then when the second movie has its twists for emotions come up, he's like, oh my God, how is this happening in this movie?
I love it.
It's just not what you expect from that film.
Yeah.
Megan and Ryan had already seen them, but we watched all 3 episodes of Middleditch and Schwartz.
Yeah.
Those were really good. I really particularly favor the first one. I don't know if it's just because it was the first one, or I just think the concept played out the best, improv-wise. Partially because those weirdos that they pick for the suggestions and the way they talk about, we all met in the parking lot. Like the way that they unfold that story as real people is part of what makes that.
And I love Middleditch and Schwartz's reactions like, what? Oh my God.
Their reactions to everything. It's like, just keep describing their wedding. That's fine.
And as someone who watched it for a second time, just as funny, like truly, honestly. There's so many jokes per minute that you can't catch them all the first time. So like watching it a second time, just as fun.
Ryan and I watched an episode of Rick and Morty. We're catching up.
Lubba.
It was a good one.
Yes, it will.
Always is. But this one was particularly interesting. The workaround that they came back through. We also watched another episode of Harley Quinn. Continues to be phenomenal, obviously. We started the group that I watch anime with. We started a new anime show because Brand New Animal we finished, and you guys all remember watching the trailer for it. It's Tower of God.
Oh, it's
the
out.
Crunchyroll original. It's only got 3 episodes left, I think, to drop before the season is over. That is solid. It's solid. I'm trying to think. I don't want to say a lot. I think conceptually it's better to go in knowing little about how it works.
It's like the high school fighting one?
No. This is this. So the whole point is there's many characters, and if they climb the tower, they essentially will meet God.
Okay.
And have important questions answered. It's actually not entirely clear. Like, everyone's goals from getting to the top of the tower seem different. So it's not clear if there is even a correct answer or one answer to what happens when you get to the top of the tower. And the tower is broad conceptually, because like it's not literally like you see them going up a tower. It's a vast open space on all its levels. It works in interdimensional ways. But the characters are engaging. The writing is tight. The action, because it's a shorter show, it's only going to be 13 episodes when it's done, moves briskly. So by the time that we only watched 2 episodes, and I felt like we covered a lot of good ground, and not in a way where I felt like I wasn't getting a lot of character development or anything. Highly recommend when you guys have time to set aside for it. It's a solid show. And the animation is very fluid. I really like it.
Cool.
So far. I'll keep you updated in case it pulls a brand new animal and it's really insensitive.
I don't want to speak too soon, but I have seen some stuff on Twitter already about the show, and I've ignored it. But I have seen some stuff about it,
about Tower
of God, and I've ignored it. But like, it's just coming back to me, and I'm like, oh no. I hope it's good. I hope it's not bad stuff. Oh boy.
Right now it's okay.
Right now it's good.
So we'll see. Megan and I played a whole bunch of Overcooked 2's story last night. That was a ton of fun. That was just Overcooked 2 is a fun game to just play with people. If you have the opportunity to do it, it's a fun little indie game. It's really good for multiplayer. 2 to 4 people. I don't really recommend playing by yourself.
It's a cooperative cooking game where you have to like clean and cook and chop, and you have to like talk to each other, and like sometimes you're on trucks, and it's super great cooperative stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
I played it before, but not with my homies.
Yeah. We definitely should set that up sometime. We all played some Battlefront, which was great with a few friends. Ben did miss that. Sorry, brother. But Ben and I played Metal Slug 3 last night.
Yeah.
And then we quit before the final mission.
Oh.
Did you know we quit before the final mission?
No, I didn't know.
I was like, oh, the next mission was the final mission.
Ah, damn. We gotta go back. We gotta go back in tonight.
We will have to go back in. And then the other thing is I finished not reading because I was doing the audiobook, but I finished going back through the original Artemis Fowl book. And have reminded myself about that and all that. It was nice to revisit. I'll just say, like, I will talk about it in relation to the film later, but just as the book itself, I remember the first time I read as a kid thinking that the world building was maybe a little more grand than it actually is, revisiting it as an adult. That doesn't make it bad. It's just, I don't know if I'm conflating the other books I read, which wasn't all of them, but I did read more, into that one. But I definitely thought the world structure was more fleshed out in the first book than it actually is. Which, again, not a bad thing, because the character arcs and the character developments are very solid and strong. We'll talk about that in relation to the film later, but Artemis Fowl holds up. It's a worthwhile read for kids, and I think it's a worthwhile read for... It's seriously darker than the film, and we'll get into that. But I think it's a worthwhile read if you want a young adult fantasy novel where your protagonist is a bad guy. And I can't stress that enough, that's kind of the point of Artemis Fowl. We'll talk about it later. That was pretty much my week. So there you go.
One of you two guys go, because I'm on this screen already.
I'll go. I finished Santa Clarita Diet. I was only 1 episode away from the last time I said so. But I did watch that final episode. I did not know that show was written to get a 4th season, and I am very upset at the way it ends.
Yeah, I heard about that. That sucks.
This is not a spoiler. The little ball thing. Is the worst thing I've ever seen on TV. And might be right on here with the bear from Annihilation for me.
Oh, you mean in terms of scary or horrifying, not...
Yeah.
Legitimately
horrifying.
Shit.
I was wondering if you meant like where they go with it or something.
Yeah. Oh, no. It is terrifying. And I have never felt more like Timothy Oliphant than watching the final season. But yeah, anyway.
Gotta get on.
Speaking of seasons, I watched the first season of the Harley Quinn TV series.
Oh, spicy!
I saw you doing that.
Yeah, tell me
I
how.
thought you would. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it a whole lot. The voice casting is incredible, and I love the animation. But Gordon's little affair with Clayface's hand is wild.
Yeah, I thought that episode would get you.
There's a lot of great characters, but Gordon might be the best.
So Ben, Gordon is in Harley Quinn is a man ready to like snap at any moment. He's been beaten so badly, and he's kind of going crazy, and he can't. And he's trying to talk to Batman about his marital issues, and he's just like, Barbara doesn't like to sleep with me anymore because she doesn't like watching my dying eyes and her on top of me every night. I was like, whoa. And Batman doesn't want to admit that he's friends with Gordon. So throughout a heist that Harley Quinn just did, Clayface loses his hand, and it becomes a little hand dude with little legs, and it becomes evidence. And Gordon bonds with it and becomes friends. It's
I just saw a clip of Harley Quinn. No, I saw a clip of Harley Quinn the other day where she's like in a lab or something, and she picks up a ray gun, shoots a guy, and then they're like, "Oh, that she gave you cancer." And it says "cancer ray." And she's like, "Why would anyone make this?" And he's like, "Harley Quinn gave me cancer." And
that
was a recent episode, not the last one, but the one before.
Okay. No, and the guy's like, "No, I can't do this. I gotta spend whatever time I live with my family." And she's like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah, so I cannot stress enough that criminal who's just like, "Harley Quinn, you gave me cancer."
Yeah.
I need to watch that show. Like,
one of the things I really like about it is that the hits feel heavy.
Yes.
Like you feel like the way the sound effects work in the show is really great because whenever Harley hits someone with a bat, you feel it. There's an impact to it because of the sound effects that were
allowed to be brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. Stakes. This show, the show is probably the best animated show I've in recent memory with this kind of continuity where like things kind of, if something happens in this episode and it pays off in this episode, and if someone dies, they're dead. That's it.
Yep. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But one of the biggest things watching the show is this is what I wanted the Harley Quinn comic to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti book turns her into a bit of a Looney Tune, and she's trying to go straight and run a carnival and blah blah blah. And Cyborg is there, but he's not. She's the landlord of this circus building, and like it's whatever, it's fine. It's a little cartoony, but seeing Harley kind of go from the Harley Quinn of classic to try to become this criminal in her own right, and Harley is. Generally, in the comics, they have a hard time making Harley Quinn a bad guy anymore.
Yeah,
because she's so popular.
Right.
And that's fine. It creates a pretty nuanced character. She operates more as an anti-hero anyway. But seeing her progression in the show, like if you wanted to say that the show exists somehow between the old 90s Harley Quinn comic book and the new Harley Quinn comic book as there between, I could see that finally progressing the arc of Harley Quinn into what they want her to be.
Sure.
That's the thing that I really like about it is that it feels like the Harley that comic should have been from the get-go.
Would you also agree that it spiritually feels completely in tone with the live action film Birds of Prey?
Yes.
Right? It's like right there.
Yeah.
I got that energy. Yeah.
I don't know. The other thing is, I don't know why DC is stupid. Full stop. But about this one specifically, because there should be a comic book, an ongoing comic book that just has Harley and Ivy together growing their relationship and being friends. The fact that has never happened and has only existed in maybe 3 miniseries is a crime.
Yeah,
sure.
Because that should be the norm.
It should be the norm. It is definitely a fan favorite thing too, and sometimes that's why those miniseries come out because they know how much the fans like it.
Yeah.
But like they have that Birds of Prey Black Label book that came out that is just the movie but in comic form.
They just came out with another Birds of Prey Black Label piece
Oh, yeah?
last week. I picked it up at the store today.
Okay, cool. So I don't know if that's more in tone with what we want, because I think that's Paul Miotti as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've also had Gotham City Sirens, which is a great book.
Yeah.
But I like Harley as a solo title, fine. She's had good solo titles and they sell well, but like, why doesn't DC, and this is a problem, I'm going to speak up on DC on this problem later on in the news, but the fact that DC doesn't do more of these team up books, like a Harley and Ivy ongoing that maybe does more than hint at them having a relationship, would be incredible and would sell gangbusters.
Wait till season 2, baby.
Yeah. One obviously it's the reason that they're too scared to have an openly gay couple lead a book. Like they're like any big company, like whether it's Marvel, Disney, Warner Brothers, like that's a thing they're always scared to do.
Certainly anyone who's like been an established character prior that they're changing that status of.
Yeah.
They don't care about like creating throwaways. Like I don't remember the name of the characters we're talking about, but I know that run that Marvel's got coming out when they're creating all these, characters.
Safe
like
Space
that
and
thank you. That nobody cares about to be their representation things.
Snowflake,
and I'm like,
yeah. We'll talk about that's so bad.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we move off Harley Quinn, 2 questions. How much do you love Kite Man?
I love him.
Heck yeah. Hell yeah. And how much did you like the episode with young Robin in the reality show?
Oh yeah. The show's so weird, and Robin's pep talk with Batman is like, I didn't get my first nemesis till I was 25.
Yeah. That's a hell of a show.
Robin's voice kills me.
It's Good Boys. What's his name? The little guy from Good Boys.
It is. Yeah. Frankie Muniz is in an episode.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, if you look up the voice cast, we said it when we first started watching. Every single person on that show is famous.
Yeah.
It's truly insane the voice cast I got for even small characters. Like they get Frankie Muniz for a little bit. It's so simple.
And then I had a bit of a Harley Quinn week. As I saw Batman and Harley Quinn, the newest Bruce Timm animated movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Newest? How new? When did it come out?
A couple years.
Okay.
It's like newest in regards to Bruce Timm's movies.
Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So like I've said, last week that I've been looking at these animated films with a new light. So I thought about going back and maybe catching up, seeing ones I didn't see, seeing ones I judged too harshly. That's what brought me to Gotham by Gaslight, Fatal 5, and then Batman and Harley Quinn. I was like, you know what? I've been enjoying these a lot more than I remember. And this is supposedly in the animated universe, so I should check it out because I like the animated universe, and I've been liking this more. And like, whoo, boy, guys, that was a sharp turn into bad quality.
Yeah.
There's a sequence I do really like, and it's a bar sequence where Mix and Min from the animated series, the twins that Two-Face uses, are singing a country song, and everyone's doing a dance. And Bruce Timm's dances are always really fun because he loops the animation, and so it's always like their hips are out, their arms are up, and they're just kind of doing this over and over again.
Oh, like you do when you hear the accordion being played in Coco.
Oh, I've seen this one because there's Floronic Man Swamp Thing stuff. Oh, yeah, this one, yeah.
Swamp Thing shows up at the end and then disappears.
Yeah, that's and I was lied to because he was like advertised to be in it, and then he shows up at the end.
Yeah, like the voice cast is really good, and I actually really like the actress who plays Harley Quinn. She actually gets a musical number in that same sequence. It's a fun sequence, and Batman and Nightwing have no audio, have no dialogue in that sequence. They just kind of exchange looks, and they're funny. And it is more of a comedy than anything else within that same universe, because they focus a lot on Harley Quinn.
Real quick, this is so funny. So you know how one of the girls from The Big Bang Theory voices Harley Quinn on the new show?
Yeah, it's the other one.
It's the other girl from The Big Bang Theory voicing Harley Quinn in this show, in this movie. Wow, don't remember her.
Warner Brothers shot in-house for their voice actors.
Yeah, she's the one who married the guy from Dr. Horrible. Yeah, Dr. Horrible. Yeah, that's a reference that you guys should know.
Yeah.
Moist from Dr. Horrible. What?
In real life?
Remember Dr. Horrible?
No. She married him in real life.
Oh no, in fake life.
In the
In
show.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
That's disgusting that you brought that fact to the show. How dare you?
You know that. That means you had to have some other fact leave your brain for that one, Brandon.
You know, I think about that a lot. I won't get into it because I'm already high and I could fall into that rabbit hole. But yeah, so I watched the Batman and Harley Quinn. The comedy doesn't really work for me. I like the actress who plays Poison Ivy though. There's a sequence in it. You know what? Before I say that, I will say Lorne Lester returns as Nightwing, and he's great. Lorne Lester hasn't been Nightwing since the video game adaptation of the animated universe, of the animated series, 25 years ago, and it's really great to see him back as Nightwing. He was great. There's a sequence where they're in the Batmobile, and Harley Quinn is like, you need to let me out. I have to use the facilities. And Batman won't do it. He's like, nope, shouldn't have ordered the chili fries. And they keep going. And she's like, okay. And she farts.
Mm-hmm.
And Nightwing gags.
Yeah, I remember this.
And Nightwing says, can you please pull over? And Batman says, no. It doesn't smell so bad. It smells like discipline.
Oh, boy.
In a different context, that could be funny.
In a different context.
And this is after he found out that they slept together, right?
This is after he caught them on the bed tickling after they slept with each other.
That exact same joke. That exact
Harley
same
Quinn
joke on the Harley Quinn show. Hilarious.
Yeah, 100%. Hilarious.
But Kevin Conroy doing it?
No, see, that's the thing. The Harley Quinn Batman doing that?
Hell yeah.
Funny.
Dietrich Bader? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I decided to go back through and watch the two of the sex trilogy that I call it. The films that try to get Batman laid. Killing Joke, Gotham by Gaslight, and this one. And I was like,
who has to try that hard to get him laid?
Bruce Timm, apparently. He produced all three of those.
I mean, that guy's Bruce Wayne. He should have no problems.
Well, so Killing Joke has the implied sex sequence between the Gargoyle and the Gargoyle, and Batman and Batgirl, which is disgusting, and you should feel bad for it. The other one is Gotham by Gaslight, and it's Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne, and within the context of that movie, it works, and it's kind of cute. The Batman and Harley Quinn is Nightwing and Harley Quinn, and it's rape.
Yeah, it's Harley. Yeah.
It's Harley saying like, I thought you guys didn't like girls. And it's like, who said that? And then it ends with Nightwing saying the things I do for Gotham. All because Harley saw him have a boner, guys.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Again, in different contexts, I could see Dick Grayson with Harley Quinn, who's like a detached from the Joker. Like I could see him doing that because that dude, he loves the ladies, right? Whatever. But in this context with Lauren Lester coming back and this is like the Bruce Timm Batman universe, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
No. Why?
I mean, there's a funny gag with a match in the Floronic Man that I quite liked, but that's the very end of that movie.
Yeah. And
the whole thing is just, if it is the animated universe, it's out of character for Batman completely.
Yeah.
But if it's not, it's just not very good.
Mm-hmm.
I was bummed because I was, like I said, I've been really enjoying them so far, and to kind of go like, oh yeah, I like Superman Red Sun, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, and this was like, oh, all right.
The shame that the Tim joint too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can recall you going off about this movie in the past, and this never sounded like one that oh yeah, some amount of removal and maybe change perspective would make this good.
No.
Apparently not.
Mm-mm.
All right, Ben, Ryan. That's all I got.
Well, I'll go. Zigzag it. I didn't do it this week again. With the announcement of a certain wall crawler we'll talk about later, it inspired me to go back and finish. I beat it, but I played more Spider-Man from the PS4 that came out 2 years ago. I beat that game at 97% out of 100%. So I just went back and I just cleaned up the streets and I got 100%. I got my trophies and all that shit. I got the DLC on sale as well. So I started to play some of the DLC, but first, we are obviously in a very trying time in America. It's very funny to go back to that game in 2018, and Spider-Man is just super homies with all the cops, and there's a bunch of cops beating up protesters, and you got to stop the protests from happening. I'm just like, oh boy, oh boy. And then I played some of the DLC, and Spider-Man is actively with SWAT teams going into places with them. And I'm just like, oh, Spider-Man, I don't know, this is so conflicting right now, but it's still really good. No, I lied. It's good. It's good because even though this is technically a sequel to the Spider-Man game, it's all about Hammerhead trying to take power after the stuff that happened. It feels like a lot of those side missions you did in the game. There's nothing spectacular, excuse the pun, about this DLC. It's just about Hammerhead coming in. Remember how you fought Mafia guys, and remember how you fought Sable guys? What if you fought Mafia guys with Sable guns? That's what this DLC is. Obviously, it still looks great. It runs great. It's still playing Spider-Man. But
you didn't play the other two?
I played 2 of the 3.
Okay, so you played Hammerhead and Black Cat.
Yes. So I thought the Black Cat stuff was good. I like Black Cat as a character. There's too much Screwball stuff. All the side stuff with Screwball is it's fine, but I don't like that character very much, and I find her kind of annoying. And the fact that she takes up so much of all this DLC really bums me out. It really bums me out. But the story itself is really fun. It's a couple hours for each DLC, so if you can get it for cheap, it's worth playing. But I'm kind of disappointed because it kind of feels like this is just cut content from the game. It doesn't, again, like Hammerhead and like the way his thing goes out. Do you remember Tombstone in the game? It just feels like a Tombstone mission. It doesn't feel like anything like, oh, you have to play this DLC. But if you want more Spider-Man, it's still a great game to play. I did that. I started watching this anime called Doro Hidoro. I did it out of a whim. I was just on Netflix at like midnight, and it said, hey, there's this new anime about a guy with a lizard head. So I'm like, cool, let's watch it. It's post-apocalyptic and cross-dimensional class warfare about human beings who live in the Hole, which is just like a really shitty version of the Earth. And then there's an alternate dimension where all the sorcerers live. And all the sorcerers are rich and powerful, and they have magical abilities. And they all dress like monsters and skeletons, and they're all like basically racist jerks, right? Sometimes the sorcerers come down to the Hole because there's resources that they need to get. And humans hate sorcerers. Sorcerers hate humans, that kind of thing, right? Your main character gets turned into a lizard head by a sorcerer. So he has a giant reptile head, and his regular head is on the inside of his neck right here. So what he does is he has amnesia. So he doesn't know what sorcerer did this to him. So every time he finds one, he eats their head, and the dude just inside his mouth. And then a dude comes up saying, were you the sorcerer who did this to me? And then he goes, no. And he goes, cool. And he goes back down his neck. And then he spits him out. He's like, all right, go away. And it's wacky and hilarious and super weird. And it's exactly the type of thing I'm into.
So I'd heard about this, and then Ryan brought it up, and I saw that it was on Netflix, and I'd already kind of heard some whiffs about it. I asked the guys who watch way more anime than me about it, and most of them have watched it, and they highly recommend it. It's quality content through and through.
Yeah. I think it is like just the right amount of wacky and like having a message coded in like silly fantasy stuff, but just the design of the sorcerers, like they all look like Dark Souls monsters. Like the main bad guy, his mask is an actual human heart. He has a human heart for a head. And it's a lot of things like that. It's just super wacky, and all the sorcerers have different types of magic, but it's just really fun. If you want to jump into something fun, I highly recommend that one. I think that's it.
That's it?
I think so. I played a bunch of other games here and there, but nothing really to talk about much.
You did a thing yesterday.
I did. I always forget to talk about, Bored and Annoyed. I always do that every Saturday that I can.
Downright Annoyed.
Downright Annoyed. Thank you. You're the best. We talked about Commando this week. Commando is a extra fun Arnold Schwarzenegger 1985 movie. Maybe the most 80s movie ever made. It's just so fun. It's probably our best episode that we've done because we had just such a fun time talking about it. And Michael actually included clips, which we haven't done before. So it actually made it really fun to talk about. So I highly recommend checking that out on their channel. Thanks for that. Nice. And my Yeti mic broke, so I'm waiting for that new one. So I'm not streaming until I get that new one. Pow, that's me.
That's why we sound like crap.
Yeah.
Ben?
I didn't do anything this week except play some. I got a Golden Sun from Frankenstein's the other day. That's what it looks like. And I've actually been really enjoying it. It's a really fun game. I heard it was a really good Game Boy Advance RPG that I've actually been wanting to play. And I think the completionist put it best because he did a video on it, and he said that Golden Sun is very good as an intro RPG. As in, if you don't want to fall off to the deep end with something like, say, Final Fantasy or Mass Effect, and if you're if you're like not sure if you like RPGs. I don't think Golden Sun's a good.
That's Baby's RPG, baby. That's a bad example. That's
Effects of Baby's RPG.
That's Baby's RPG. That's not even an RPG. That's like action RPG. Sorry.
All right.
Mass Effect's like my favorite series. I would know.
All right.
Sorry.
But I mean, I've been playing that a lot. I've been having a lot of fun with that. I mean, there have been times where I'm coming home thinking, okay, I'm going to start reading my comics, and then I see my Game Boy Advance. It's like, I'll do like a little bit of Golden Sun. Next thing I know, it's like I should probably go to sleep right now. Yeah. So besides that, I've just been doing stuff for the show, and I didn't do anything much this week. Or not that I can remember. Besides seeing Sparks today to pick up my comic books, and yeah.
All right.
My week was not nothing.
Let's get into it.
Well, he brought up a good point. We did stuff for the show this week. We really buried the lead. It was our 4-year anniversary on Friday.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You're the best.
Yeah, see, you got it.
We really buried the lead on that one. Yeah, it was our 4-year anniversary on Friday, and yesterday we recorded a special to honor that. That's up on YouTube right now. But we've been doing this for over 4 years officially now.
Yeah, it's wild.
I love it.
Not really me 4 years. You like 2 more weeks in your 4 years, but more or less.
Was he on an episode in the first year?
Oh yeah,
Then 4 years.
No, I joined like really joined 6 months in, 7 months in.
I would say that.
Like the first time I guessed it, I mean like regularly circled it.
About 6 months in.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, so Sparks is right. We recorded an episode, and it's up on YouTube now. Also up on iTunes and all your podcasting services, so you can watch or listen to it. I recommend to watch this one. It was a lot of fun. We did some trivia for that. But yes, it is 4 years we've been doing this. And we also did the book club new show. We launched the book club show for kind of information on what that's going to be. Watch that episode, but it's basically just going to be a series where we go through a series of comic books instead of just doing one comic book every week. So it should be a lot of fun.
Woo, 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 I love it.
All right, so let's get into our really long news, guys. It's going to be a long episode. Strap in.
I'm double strapped.
All right. We start today with some bad news.
Yeah.
Mel Winkler passed away this week. If you don't know that name offhand, he was the voice of Lucius Fox in the new Batman Adventures. He was also a character. He was a character actor mostly. Tons of TV shows. He did Superman, the New Adventures of Lois and Clark. That's what it's called. Tons of other shows back in that day. He passed away for unknown reasons at the age of 78. Very sad to lose that.
Yeah.
And then Denny O'Neil, famed comic book writer Denny O'Neil, passed away this week at the age of 81 due to natural causes. This guy, man, what can you really say about Denny O'Neil?
So you guys probably haven't, not to speak for you, but I know you guys don't read a lot of 70s and 80s comics, but Denny O'Neil, if there was a Mount Rushmore of comics, more than 4 people, I wouldn't think he'd be top 4. He's top 10 for sure. He's the reason that the Green Arrow is the way that he is now, the way you like him. He's the reason the Question is the way that he is and that you like him. He was the editor of Batman for over 40 years, and he wrote on Batman from the 70s up until then. He wrote I forgot to bring my book down. He wrote a novelization of Nightfall where Bane broke Batman's back. That's the only DC novel I own, and he wrote it. It's excellent. The impact this dude had on the industry is monumental.
Well, you said he had a large run on Batman, and that's true. He revitalized Two-Face, Joker. He's one of the creators of Leslie Tompkins, which is a DC mainstay, but mostly for Batman, he created Ra's al Ghul.
And Talia, yeah.
Ra's and Talia.
Son of the Demon, heir to demon stuff. Yeah.
As is, what happens with these kind of things. I didn't know much about him till he passed. And then this week, and then I was reading articles. I'm like, oh, damn. Yeah, he did a lot of good stuff.
He wrote maybe the best run of Iron Man from the 80s. The Demon in the Bottle stuff was before his time, but he took that stuff, and maybe the most heartbreaking issue of Iron Man 182 is when he is alone on the street, homeless, and he helps a pregnant homeless woman give birth, and then she dies and he's on the street with her. And that is, you don't write comics like that with Tony Stark anymore. Tony Stark is an MCU character. He is not the broken person he used to be. He's the reason that Speedy was a heroin addict. Denny O'Neil dealt with serious topics in comics from at a way earlier age than most people did. I didn't think about how much I've read his stuff, because I read a lot of older comics years ago, but not recently. But that's why, spoiler alert, that's what the next book club is, his work. I didn't realize like how much this dude's work like meant to me, and like it sucks. It sucks. Like he's old. He was an older guy, and it's natural causes.
Yeah, how old was he?
81.
81.
Yeah. Yeah, and like he was working with Batman until 2009. Like that dude, he wrote an Abbott and Costello comic in the 60s. Like this dude has been around for a long time. Yeah, I didn't know that. I looked it up.
He wrote the famed Green Lantern Green Arrow run, which Ryan says where it was revealed that Speedy was on heroin.
Mm-hmm.
I like one of his like things that he did was he killed the original Batwoman, Kathy Kane. I was like, oh, you bastard.
There you go. We wouldn't have Kate Kane then.
That's true. His influence on the comic book world, to mention anything, is to shortchange him because of how influential he was. You know, people credit Frank Miller, Alan Moore for ushering in the dark ages of comics, but man, he was doing that stuff before The Dark Knight Returns.
I think it's unfortunate that I can be as steeped in comics as I am, which is admittedly not as much as Ryan, but I've never heard his name come up.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Now I know. Now I'm going to look for stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a list in front of me of all the characters he created, but please look it up.
Sure.
It's impressive to the audience. Look it up. It is impressive.
He also, I didn't know this, but he was one of the directors of the Hero Initiative, which is a huge comic book charity. So like he was just a all-around great guy. Thanks for your work, man. I appreciate you.
I did see my favorite thing, I think, to come out of it, people talking about Denny O'Neil on Twitter, was he gave us the single greatest moment in comics ever. You know which one?
Yeah,
it is?
100%.
Which is like, can you put Iron Man on? And Tony Stark's on the phone.
No, it's Rhodey.
Oh, is it?
It's Rhodey.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It's Rhodey. Yeah, it's Rhodey, and he's like, 1 sec. And he puts on the helmet. Yes.
It's great comic book cheesiness. He wrote Rhodey when Tony Stark was on the streets. And then the armor wasn't taking to Rhodey, so it started to infect Rhodey, and Tony Stark had to come and be a hero again. But man, like he was very progressive. He was very all about like talking about the subjects of like addiction and stuff. So like I appreciate him more than ever now. Unfortunately, after his passing.
Yeah. Okay, so this category starts a trend that I'm actually going to read out.
I'll take 200. I'll take category 200, Alex.
No.
Oh.
So this is just called delays for shit. There were a lot of delays, mostly on Warner Brothers' end this week. As we're
coronavirus is still real.
Spoilers.
Anyway, go ahead.
Wonder Woman 84 was moved from its August 14th, 2020 date to October 2nd, 2020. This is the 4th release date that Wonder Woman 84 has had.
Guess what?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the last.
Yeah,
I don't want to ruin anyone's day. I don't think it's the last.
Godzilla vs. Kong has moved from its November 20th, 2020 release date, which was its 2nd release date after May. It was pushed from May after Godzilla King of the Monsters didn't do well. Now it is May 12th, 2021.
Hot summer.
3rd release date.
Right.
Yeah. And the movie's done. Anyway, they did release a synopsis this week of it. Of what the movie.
This year too. You're not wrong.
Oh, that's true, yeah. What this movie could be. It says, in a new world where man and monster now coexist, Monarch must lead the way to a prosperous future alongside the Titans, keeping humanity in check. However, rival factions that want to manipulate the Titans for war begin to rise under the guise of a nefarious conspiracy, threatening to wipe out all life on the planet. Meanwhile, on Skull Island, strange seismic activity draws the attention of Godzilla and Kong alike.
I was gonna say, isn't that entire first thing you said just the plot of the last movie?
Yep.
Like exactly the plot of the last movie, and then we go to Skull Island?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Oh man, you guys, oh no.
Well, it's written by who directed the last one?
Michael Dougherty.
Yeah.
Michael Dougherty. It's written. This one is written by Michael Dougherty.
Cool. Yeah. I want to have faith. Gotta have faith.
Get
I
faith
think I'll
in
watch
the heart.
it anyway.
Yeah.
Visually.
Yeah. Oh, sure, yeah. My eyes will be pleasantly surprised, but my brain will go, oh, baby.
Tenet has finally moved.
Take that, Chris.
Tenet has finally moved from its original release date of July 17th, 2020 to a new release date of July 31st, 2020.
Wow, you really
wow, a week.
Instead, on the 17th, Inception will air.
that's not even that's not even
Hey
a movie
guys,
I would pick.
this doesn't even make sense. It's like, hey guys, there's a movie you could watch at home, but why don't you guys risk going to the theaters and watch Inception to support Warner Brothers
Again,
instead of just staying at home?
I feel like
Go see Inception.
I feel like Interstellar would be the one to choose because that's like the more visually. Well, I guess they're both visually appealing.
So
but
there's a rumor going around that Tenet is actually a sequel to Inception.
I also saw that, and cool. Okay, cool. Whatever.
Well, if that is true, then it would make sense that Warner Bros. Would do something like this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I'm still not going to a theater to see it.
Nope, I own it. I'm good.
Yeah,
I think it's a very mixed messaging kind of thing to say we don't have faith that it's safe for you to go to the theaters to put this out. But please go see this movie. You could watch at home easily.
This 10-year-old movie. Yeah.
And so one of the things that is entirely possible is that the theaters asked to play something in that slot because they're opening anyway.
Possible.
And Warner's gave them Inception.
Yeah. Again, if you want to test the market, I just don't think a 10-year-old movie is the way to go.
Yeah.
Even if it's tied to your movie or not, like I don't.
And it's the 10th anniversary.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not usually someone who goes to see a movie with like 5-year and a 10-year anniversary in the theater.
I'll go see something like not Inception, I guess. It's just fine. It's not the kind of movie under any circumstances I feel like I need to go see that in theaters right now.
Yeah.
Like if Jurassic Park was showing, I'll go.
That's totally yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies that like I could watch at home, but you put it in theaters, I'll go.
Oh yeah. There's quite
a list.
Yeah, there's definitely quite a few. And I saw Inception in theaters, so I don't need to see it again. But
yeah, I agree. So My Spy, the Dave Bautista spy movie with the little girl and the girl from Bob's Burgers, I forgot her name.
We've been seeing trailers for almost 2 years.
Yep. It has a new release date. I'm gonna list you the original release dates. First, it was coming out in August 2019, January 2020, March 2020, April 2020. And now it will be released on Amazon Prime for free, streaming on Amazon Prime on June 26th, 2020.
Oh, you're giving it away for free. It's not even going to be VOD.
Wow.
I'll watch it.
No, that's I will absolutely watch it. But I'm just like, do they not even have faith that people will pay for it?
Well, it makes some. Go ahead.
Well, this joins movies like Lovebirds and Artemis Fowl and
now.
Like
correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think this makes some sort of sense because this was a Fox movie, right? This is the Fox
Stuber is the Fox one. This is the Paramount one.
Okay. Because I was gonna say if it's the Fox movie that Disney just has, they're not really losing money on just shoving it on. All right.
I will say, Dave Bautista and that little girl make really, really funny TikToks for the marketing for this movie, so I'll support it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to watch it. I feel like it'll be charming in its own way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks more appealing to me than the than the Stuber one did.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I like those actors. Just Stuber didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
No Time to Die has moved from its November 25th, 2020 release date to now November 20th, 2020. They moved up 5 days.
5 days early?
Yeah.
I think
Well,
I think they're trying to stay a little further away from the holiday. I think that is one of the things is that theaters are going to try to tone down holiday attendance because it's with the coronavirus, it's not going to be great for business.
100%. Because I know, when I spent time with my families, we would go to the movies.
Right, exactly. So I think that we're going to see a lot of people try to keep away from the holidays being release dates for films.
Yeah.
Rather something that less people will go to see a thing that's been out for about a week rather than we got to go right now because it just came out.
Smart.
Yeah. Bill and Ted Face the Music has changed its release date from August 21st, 2020 to August 14th, 2020, also moving up. And Matrix 4 has moved from its second release date after being pushed from the coronavirus to now April 1st, 2022.
Oh, damn, that's now 2 years away. Hot dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Gives Keanu Reeves plenty of time to film John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah!
Did you guys hear about the CGI sex scenes that Hollywood's considered using from now on?
It makes sense.
Yeah, you're funny.
I mean, like if you are having a film right now where that amount of intimacy is required between your actors, it makes sense to just forego that in lieu. If you have to show it, just make it CGI.
Yeah.
I would be cool if they just got like Barbies and with like the faces of the actors, and we're just like
Team America.
And just be like, use your imagination and subtitles.
All right, so this category is called industry shit.
Oh man, cool. This is a shitty episode.
I was writing this really late last night.
Yeah.
The Flash has fired Hartley Sawyer, the elongated man, for offensive language.
I have so many complicated feelings about this.
So honestly, this is a James Gunn type situation because he did these tweets 8 years ago. The difference is he never apologized for them or anything. That's the difference. James Gunn deleted those tweets and he apologized multiple times before he was caught. Where Justin or Sawyer, what his name is, was like he apologized now for it. That sucks.
I agree. Here's my thing. Those tweets were there the whole time.
Yes, they were.
This changes nothing about the fact that they hired him, that he would have been vetted to some degree, that he's done this work for a long time. And my thing about it, I like that actor as the elongated man. He's really good. I'm trying to be objective when I say this. I am aware that I enjoy him on the show. I think he's been a good addition to the show that has made the show stronger. I think that punishing someone and I read the tweets, and they're not great. They're bad. But I think punishing someone this late for something that was said that far back, when they've done as much as they have, when they've interacted, like if the actors on the show, if the people in his life that are around him in this working space have never felt like that's been a factor of him, I don't know that you can hold someone so accountable for actions 6 years old or more.
Yeah. That's tricky about it.
That's a really weird gray area where I don't know that this should cost him his job. I think it removes the opportunity for a person to have evolved or grown at all. This is one of those times where I think it's a little overreactionary, which I understand given where we're all at right now in our country.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I think this sends the wrong type of message, rather than allowing an opportunity for any kind of acknowledgement or evolution of a person.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bummer because yes, those things were shitty. He also said them that many years ago and hasn't done or said anything in the vein of that since. And everybody says dumb shit on the internet at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
It might not be that bad, but like I wouldn't want to be held accountable for like some of my most depressing things I ever said onto Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, where people judged me for that. Not necessarily that they were ever like they were more like self-deprecation, but like I wouldn't want that shit dragged up to be compared to judge me as I am now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, we don't know for sure that he hasn't had complaints on the set for language or something like that.
No, I know, but you'd think that if there were, that would have been a part of this conversation.
Yeah, multiple of the people who worked on the set have come out against him, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me some, if any, leeway to be like, maybe there is something there. I don't know. Like Grant Gustin very clearly came out and said it. Like the showrunner clearly came out and said, we don't like this. And yeah, again, this is...
But Grant Gustin also said he was shocked.
Yes. Okay, he was shocked, yes.
That's what I mean is like there are some who are saying like, this is shocking.
And again, 8 years ago, that's such a long time ago. That is such a long time ago. And like I don't even remember the things I said last week. I can't imagine like being held accountable for things I said 8 years ago when I might not mean them. And I also looked at the tweets and they are horrific. They are, if you've seen those James Gunn tweets, they're as bad as them. Like they are not funny. They are not cool. Especially in a time now where we're dealing with issues about racism and sexism. I wouldn't know what to do. I'm glad I'm not the guy in charge of the show. I think this is the only thing you can do because like when you have so many people yelling at you, the only thing you do is retaliate. That's what happened with James Gunn. Yeah. Even if it's not warranted. We're in a weird situation where like our past can come back to haunt us. a decade later, even if we're not the same person anymore.
Yeah.
That's kind of tragic. I just I hope he learns from it. He probably has before this. I'm glad I'm not running a show. I'll say that.
Yeah, I want to be clear that I'm not saying they're doing the wrong thing. I just think that there should be more question about how right this is than us just being all like, good, they fired that guy that said something racist 6 to 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I think we need to be more nuanced about our approaches to it as audience members, as people, even as the people who are running the show.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is the exact correct course of action. I don't know necessarily what is. I don't know if there's some level where we need to introduce an amount of maybe that there is a a workshop kind of thing.
Yeah.
About educating him and discussion, and he's pulled off the show for a while to do that kind of thing. It feels that this is that on that gray area where it's it's not quite such a criminal offense of what he did, where there should be an amount of acknowledging, is this who you are now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this who you're going to be going forward? But
and again,
it is what it is.
It's him trying to be a volatile comic. Every
Well, I think
goes to say in their life, every comedian has a period where they're really vulgar. Not everyone, but you know what I mean. They all have it where they're really edgy, and that was his edgy period. It's just unfortunate it came out in really gross ways. But
we have to acknowledge we'll never know the full story. We know what Warner Bros. Told us. We know what.
Yeah.
But we don't know what happened behind the scenes. We don't know if he was in fact doing this stuff to the cast or crew. We don't know if he wasn't. It's just the thing is like Ryan said, it's we're lucky that we're not in that position.
Yeah.
Yes. I think what drew my ire about the situation is that it's framed in a way we just learned that he's this person, and I'm like, but you shouldn't either. You shouldn't have, because it was clear in interactions with him leading up to this point, which he's been at the show for 3 years, should be kind of known if that's kind of gauge where that's at, or that someone should have been able to recognize this beforehand. Now, granted, I don't know, social media vetting maybe now is just getting to the point where studios are taking that kind of thing more seriously to go back and look, but it's just weird to have it be a reactionary thing, it just happened, but it didn't. It didn't just happen.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if it had just happened, then obviously you get him out of there. But since this, like you said, it happened 8 years ago, people have changed. I mean,
Ben, again, just to be clear, don't know the full story. We don't know what he was doing behind the scenes. But Sparks is right. It is a weird way to frame this sort of thing. Figuring out we just found out. It is like the Disney and the James Gunn thing, where it's we just found out this happened. Really?
Yeah. And I mean, Ryan's right. The James Gunn thing has a very strong difference, which is that even before it was known, James Gunn was apologizing for those things. But at the same time, I can also understand, again, us not knowing the full story, but I'm going off of what has been presented to us, which is that Hartley Sawyer could have thought that he didn't need to.
Yeah.
And I can understand that kind of young arrogance about it too. And I don't know that goes on a line where we need to be firing people for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply something where I think, in general, not just us, but everybody should be having more of a conversation about how do we handle this kind of behavior, because I don't always know that reacting to something that's so old in this manner is the correct way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. AT&T made some waves this week with a couple of things that have happened. As we all know, they own Time Warner now, Warner Media. They are looking to sell. They are reportedly looking to sell WB Interactive, which includes studios such as Rocksteady, NetherRealm, and Avalanche. This value it's valued at $4 billion. This deal, they are looking to liquidate more things. This is, I think, the Diamond thing comes from the same strategy, that they are looking to liquidate as much as they can to pay off the debt that they accumulated with buying of Time Warner. And I think this is what this is. This is them being like, we'll get money back for these so that we are no longer in debt. Their main priority is to get out of debt.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think it's also a reaction to the lack of those things bringing in revenue at this moment because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So they're speeding up the track record of how they want to get out of that debt.
Yeah. This deal would also include IP licensing. So anybody who buys these titles will still be able to use the IP that Warner Brothers controls.
That's big. That means like that's Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whoever gets this gets Batman.
This is generally, unless we're talking about EA, generally when a company gets bought by someone else, that's a good thing because then they get more money and more resources to make the things they want, right?
Mhm.
For me, this seems like a good thing because anytime, like Rocksteady, right? They are under Warner Brothers. Rocksteady can only make what Warner Brothers kind of wants them to make. If they get bought by someone else, they can do that, or that studio can let them work on something else. Like for me, this is only a good thing. Avalanche is a great studio. They made Mad Max and they made the Just Cause games. Like again, like this for me is great. Like more studios that get to work on things makes me happy. You know, let people like not what's it called like open domain or whatever, free domain. Like that's the dream, right? Anyone can work on whatever they want.
Letting things get at least on this side of the industry get a little further away from the oligopoly.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Like I love that Sony owns Spider-Man and we get one great Spider-Man game. But if that Spider-Man game's bad, we're stuck with that Spider-Man, right? So like I love when this happens to companies. So I'm very excited for this.
Well, wait. Marvel owns the video game rights to Spider-Man, not Sony.
Okay, so
Which is why it's licensed to Insomniac.
okay, yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, but I mean it's only on PlayStation. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's because Insomniac's PlayStation exclusive. It was not related.
Yeah.
It just kind of happily worked out.
But I mean, like the other games used to be multi-platform. Now you have to go to PlayStation for Spider-Man. If that Spider-Man game's bad, that's all you got, and that makes me sad.
Yeah. I would imagine this would include TT, which has been making the Lego games.
Yeah, Traveler's
Traveler's Tale. I think this is going to probably include the Lego games. So I wonder what's going to happen to those after Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga comes out. I don't know. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, like any of like the big companies could buy these guys. Like if Microsoft or Sony bought these, like that could mean crazy things.
Whoever buys it, I hope that Warner Bros. Montreal finally tells us what they've been working on.
Man, that game, whatever that they're working on something. They have been. They just won't tell us, and I just want to know.
I think that the Lego games will continue no matter what happens because wherever it ends up, Lego will pursue continuing to make those video games, and it's very easy now that the template exists to just keep pumping. That's just like
that's free money.
That like because you just take it with variation. I'm not trying to say that they never try to incorporate new things or make those Lego games more fun. But I mean, like, the very simple, basic setup of how the Lego games work is more or less consistent across all the titles. You just bring in new IP to work with. So I think that the Lego video games in some form will continue to exist, regardless of where the selling happens here.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, what would they look like, I wonder. And then AT&T also decided that they're going to remove the HBO Go app. They're going to sunset that app altogether. HBO Go was the app that you would get if you were already subscribed to the cable channel HBO.
This, I know people who do that, and they're upset. Because this is them strong-arming to say, oh, you want all your stuff that you can play on all your devices, not have to watch it live? Gotta get HBO Max, baby.
So HBO Now, which is the app that you could subscribe if you don't have a cable subscription to HBO, will just be renamed HBO and will still exist.
Right.
And then HBO Max, obviously. They're doing this, quote unquote, to avoid confusion of having 3 HBO apps.
Yeah, they're just consolidating, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's important that it's eliminating app service for people who already have like Dish or satellite or that kind of thing, who are paying for an HBO channel. They no longer can get an app where they can just pull up HBO video access.
Do you get HBO Max because you already have HBO though?
No. So HBO Go gave you everything that HBO Now used to give you before Max existed.
Okay.
So you had access to all the HBO shows because you paid for the HBO channel through something else. That app will now not exist.
Okay.
You will not be able to do that if you are paying for HBO through some subscriber or channel thing, satellite, dish, whatever. You now can only watch it live. You can't.
Well, I wonder, and they haven't said one way or the other, but I do wonder if they will make concessions for those people to get HBO Now.
You mean the new HBO?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about that.
They'd have to, because that just seems like like they're shitting on a bunch of people.
I would not surprise if that became their strategy.
I'm pretty sure that they won't do it because they want everybody to pay the $16 to get HBO Max.
Again, they made that app.
Or what do you think about this?
What?
Ben, thoughts?
Wait.
You're
About
in
the
the
whole.
podcast. You can talk.
No. Cause I don't have HBO. HBO. It sucks for the people who pay cable and their apps. This is just AT&T screwing people over.
Well, this is AT&T. What I was about to say is that this is AT&T doing what they've been doing, trying to lower their debt. HBO Max only exists because AT&T was like, we'll get more money if we make an app, if we make this app, HBO Max.
Yeah, by screwing people over in the process. That's what they do. I feel like that's what they do best. The people at Warner Brothers or the people at AT&T, they bought something thinking, oh, this is going to be the biggest moneymaker, and it's gone. By the sounds of it, it's biting them in the ass every which way they turn. And the way they think that's, oh, this is how we're going to fix it, it keeps biting them in the ass. Because if I had a satellite service and I was able to, like, say I missed Game of Thrones and I wasn't able to watch the Encores, but I could watch it on HBO Now, and then like, hey, and they say, oh, but if you want the HBO app, you still have to pay for it. If you want HBO Max, you still have to pay for it. It's like, well, I'm not paying twice for the same damn thing, so screw you. I'm just going to cancel my HBO thing completely. And just by looking at what HBO Max is, or as of now, it's really not worth it. I thought about it, and then I'm like, nah. I was talking to Faye about one time about buying my own HBO Max account, and then I was like looking through, and then I think it's on here later about some other DC films that are getting off of HBO Max. The sole reason why some people wanted it in the first damn place.
Talk about that in a minute, Ben.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not worth it. That $15 isn't even worth it anymore.
I want to be clear. HBO Max, I think, if you were a person who was going to get HBO Now at all anyway, you wanted all those HBO shows and all the movies that end up on HBO, even so you know how HBO, the channel, works. Movies get licensed to be on there for a few months, that kind of thing, after they've come out in theaters like 6 months before or whatever. Yeah. You get all those on the HBO Now app, now on HBO Max as well. So you get movies that are beyond just their catalog because they're licensed to be on the channel for a certain amount of time. So It actually gives you a pretty wide breadth of things. The crappy thing is that HBO Max does not make it clear. There is no good way to see how much you actually have access to as a person who has HBO Max. They have made it very difficult, except for the HBO stuff. You go to the HBO hub, it's basically like opening up the old HBO Now app. You can see all the HBO shows, and I mean HBO shows that have existed the entire time. So you have access to all of it the whole time. So I don't think the app is a total wash, but it's still growing.
Give it a year.
Yeah. Well, I want to real quickly, Ben. You said that they bought a company at a loss. That's not true. Well, no matter what, companies are going to be in debt. Disney has a little bit of debt from buying Fox. Always is going to happen because you're spending a hell of a lot more money than really anybody should have. But when it comes to this, AT&T doesn't know what they're doing owning a media company, a media conglomerate. So what they're thinking of. They have a "what have you done for us lately" attitude. It's not that they're losing money. They've already lost the money. They're not continuing to lose money. They're just being like, well, video games hasn't made us $1 billion, gone. Comics haven't made us $1 billion, gone. This hasn't made us $1 billion, gone. It's not biting them in the ass. They're just taking a hatchet to everything because they're just trying to make back their money.
They're like,
and it's working.
It feels like they're scared of anything.
Can I bring up a little thing about AT&T and HBO Max that really, like, it set a whole lot of people who care about this stuff. They're right the way pissed off. AT&T came out, I don't remember if it was this week or the week before, but they came out and said HBO Max will not be subject to data caps through the AT&T service. So if you have AT&T, no data caps to worry about, which everybody sat there and went, you just literally proved that data caps don't need to exist. You just do it to ratchet up people's prices.
Yep.
So everybody like lit up about that. They're like, you're just... Ooh, AT&T, ooh, because also AT&T is also notoriously the worst in the country about handling data caps. And this is more of a problem for like people who live in much more rural areas where they're trying to work with AT&T. Data caps are a monster. And they just established to everyone, by the way, these don't even need to be there.
All right, anyway, bring it right back around to DC. DC Universe has canceled DC Daily. They're claiming it was too difficult to get the show recorded because of the pandemic. This is after 400 episodes. They're canceling this one. This has been a mainstay since DC Universe launched. It was kind of their news show.
So every single other media company in the world has figured out a way to make shows except for DC. Okay, I believe you.
I
definitely believe that.
I was eating my lunch, and I saw an episode of the Game Grumps. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to click on it. Very first thing they said is that we're doing this remotely. We're not in the same room. Dan is at home. Aaron is at home. But we're still talking and playing video games together.
What DC Daily does is no kind of different than what we do, just on a much bigger, grander scale, right? Like they talk about DC stuff on a daily basis. You could do that exactly what you're doing here. Like they canceled it because that streaming service is dying. That thing is going away. This was just the coronavirus was probably an excuse to do it.
It sounds like an excuse.
The coronavirus has become a convenient excuse for most of AT&T's decisions.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
and I can't wait till the next John Oliver episode where he badmouths AT&T and says, "Oh, you thought I was done business, Daddy? You thought I was gonna be a good little boy? No,
business daddy." Yeah, like IGN, I still listen and watch all their live shows and stuff. They're doing what we're doing. Just again, they have better equipment. Every company that does a type of daily show is Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert. They're doing it from their homes. This is
Trevor Noah.
There was no
Daily Show.
There was no excuse. This is a bad excuse.
Freaking The Late Show with Seth Meyers.
Yeah. Every media show is still on the air in some capacity.
Yeah.
Except for that, because it's like time to cut.
I freaking love watching Stephen Colbert talk with his son every once in a while when he's doing his show. Seth Meyers is doing it from his attic, and sometimes his kids come out of the little tiny door and mess around. It's so adorable. Every other show has found I feel like Jeff Goldblum's like, shows will find a way.
Well, yeah. I mean,
look, for DC.
I mean, look, Netflix did a Tiger King special.
Dude, they did that thing in like a week. Like they capitalized on that. Like again, this is just an excuse to get the show off.
DC Universe is dying. That's all it is. DC Universe is dying, and it's
I love you.
Waste.
Thank you for Swamp Thing.
It's like I love you, but sometimes I really hate it when you're doing stuff like this.
Speaking, going back to HBO and DC, as Ben alluded to prior, several DC films are leaving HBO Max come July 1st. These titles include Batman, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, Catwoman, Jonah Hex, The Losers, The Lego Batman Movie, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and Justice League.
No, hold up, Brian, hold up. Why? Why? You just announced as a huge selling point for HBO Max, the Snyder Cut is coming to HBO Max. The Justice League cut you've always wanted is going to be here in 2021.
Yeah.
But we're going to sweep away everything else.
No, it's not that. It's not that. So you didn't read the rest of you didn't read the rest of the article. So what this is Warner Brothers' way of doing something dumb. But no, it is they're going to be replacing those films with other DC movies.
Everything on DC Universe.
And they will continue to rotate movies every month.
What is this, Overwatch? That's
the thing that I don't understand. The point of having a curated streaming service for your entire company, HBO Max, Disney Plus, is to keep them on there for all time. I don't understand why you've just been like, we'll vault this. We're going to take these off this month and then put these on next month.
I think they're doing it to run out licensing contracts.
Could be.
I think that's what it is.
But
like where those films are licensed other places.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to run out whatever those contracts are, and when that's done, everything will just be on HBO Max.
It doesn't make sense because that thing just launched like a couple weeks ago, right? And if you watch that ad, what's plastered all over it? It's Justice League, it's Wonder Woman, it's Suicide Squad,
it's Joker.
Is Joker taken off too? No? Okay. So cool, we have Joker. Great. Since we live in a society. But like, if you are getting HBO Max just now, you can go and watch that YouTube ad right now. You're like, oh, cool, HBO Max is out. Like, I don't pay attention to the news, whatever. You go and watch Justice League, getting excited for the Snyder Cut. It's not there. That blows my mind.
To Ben's point, they are talking about the Snyder Cut. All these films will be on there by the time the Snyder Cut rolls around.
Yes,
because that's so long ago. But doing this now is Right, doing this now is baffling.
But the thing is, it does make sense because Warner Brothers owns HBO. They own all those movies. Stuff for like Netflix, like they rotate stuff out because they don't own those. That is perfectly acceptable. That's fine. I get that. But if you have your own streaming service, your own films that you own, cook everything, and you're just gonna rotate them out, that's dumb.
It's like a Disney Vault, but completely unwarranted or unnecessary.
Yeah.
Well, it's like if Disney did for Disney Plus, that they were like, okay, this week we have the original trilogy, and then we'll take those off, and then put on the prequel trilogy, and then take those off, and then put on Solo.
We can't live our lives according to the streaming services methods.
No, you know what this sounds like? This sounds a lot. Sounds like AT&T or whatever, or whomever the hell decided to do this. Listen to
AT&T.
Nintendo. What?
AT&T.
Okay, this is what AT&T, they heard what Nintendo was going to do when they launched their online service with the NES games, how originally when it first came out, they said that they're going to rotate games for a month, that they weren't going to stay on there. And then apparently AT&T listened to the point up until people got mad because Nintendo, as we know, changed it and made it so whatever's on there stays there. Games are not leaving. They're only adding more games. Whereas AT&T is like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Keep people interested. Let's rotate stuff out.
I think this is their version of the Disney Plus. You know, when it launched, it's like, here's National Treasure 2. Just watch it. But National Treasure 1, hang on. This is the date that National Treasure will be here on the service. And that's a licensing thing. And I think that this is just their way of working around it. And but I don't know that for sure. I just think that. But again, it's not that shocking as a person who has had DC Universe and watched have an entire catalog suddenly disappear the next day, and then a couple films from it reappear the next week. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They don't.
The Academy Awards has changed their guidelines. Did you want to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that it remains baffling how Warner Brothers owns so many things on Cartoon Network, on Adult Swim, on all these things, and yet the collection that they have put on HBO Max is so small. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I want to bonk them on time at the head, but I can't.
All right. So the Academy Awards have changed their guidelines in response to the national protests and George Floyd and things like that, and highlighting black filmmaking. So they've changed their guidelines to add more inclusivity. We've seen Ava DuVernay was just recently invited into the Academy, so they are clearly inviting more people. They're going to extend the Best Picture category, shocking, to 10.
Back to 10.
I didn't know it was ever not at 10.
Yeah, they moved it. See, they've gone back and forth for years because The Dark Knight was a big pillar. People were mad that it wasn't nominated and all that stuff. So like I feel like it changes every year, no joke. Like, but it used to be 10, and then it wasn't, then it was, and then it wasn't, and now it is.
I mean, it was always 5.
Yeah.
And then it was 10, and then 8, and then now back to 10.
For a couple of years, it was you could nominate up to 10, and that's why people were mad. Why is there only 7 nominees and like Green Book's like the winner? Like there's other movies you can pick.
Boy, people are mad about Green Book
now.
Oh yeah, they were mad before, but they are mad
Boy,
now.
it's like watching The Help. No, thank you.
Okay, they will limit its governors to a maximum of 12 years. So the people who run the academy will be able to be phased out for new people every 12 years.
Governors? Ooh.
New representation and inclusion standards. Don't know what that means. That is verbatim, by the way. I did not paraphrase.
Less white people.
Annual unconscious bias training will be mandatory for all.
Okay.
Films will be screened.
That's the thing. What you just said, that's the kind of thing I was trying to talk about with Hartley Sawyer earlier. Unconscious bias training, shit like that. Anyway, sorry, that was the phrasing I was looking for and couldn't find. That's why I jumped on that. Sorry.
Films will be screened on a quarterly basis through the Academy streaming site to ensure all voters watch the films. Basically,
You go ahead.
So basically, what that means is the Academy has a streaming service that you can use if you're an Academy member. They're going to put all the Best Picture nominees 3 at a time on there at a quarterly basis to make sure that if you vote for it, you've seen it. So they're going to monitor who's seen it. This is to stop the problem with the voters, which is nobody watches the damn movies.
I don't understand. One, like you choose to be on this group of people who get to see movies and rate and review them, right, for the Oscars, right? You choose that, and then you choose not to review the movies that you chose to do. I don't understand it. This is the whole thing is about voting for movies and you don't see the movies. It's just how does anything work at the Oscars? It boggles my mind.
Yeah, I know.
Something else that bothers me is that you can choose not to have watched all of them.
Yes.
And I feel like you shouldn't be able to pick the best picture among the batch if you haven't given at least all of them a watch.
That's what I was trying to say.
Or at least a try.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought that was me being a young ignorant man with hopes and dreams. That's how I thought things were done. The best picture, mommies, you have to see them all.
Understand, Ben, that until the streaming service thing comes in, there's no way to enforce that.
Right.
Prior to internet and streaming services existing, so there was no need to change the rules. They're still adapting to that mentality. It just feels like we're at the point where that should be required, where you shouldn't be able to say, "Oh, I watched my one race movie, which was Green Book, and I don't need to watch any of the others."
Yeah.
Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Right. We shouldn't be there. Green Book seems more to my palate. I'm not going to watch Black Klansman, so I'm not going to consider it.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the way it works.
Nope.
Yeah.
At this point.
Did you guys see that people are trying to cancel Adam Driver for his scene in Black Klansman?
No.
No, because that sounds stupid, so it clearly didn't get the traction it needed to reach me.
It was really messed up. It was just like there's a scene in Black Klansman where he's yelling, and it's like, I heard the script. This was improvised. He seems a little too angry to not believe it.
Well, this actor doing his job seems a little too actorly.
Yeah, and Steven Spielberg killed dinosaurs to make Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
Oh God, I forget that people like that exist in this world. Oh,
I have a shirt to commemorate it.
I know you do. I know you freaking do.
This segment is called Books and Shit. DC Comics. We'll start with. They are ending the comic book series Shazam at issue 15, written by Jeff Loveness.
Wait, was he writing it?
Nope, he was a fill-in writer.
Oh, okay.
He was a fill-in writer to fill in because Jeff needed to get caught up.
How many issues has he been writing?
Didn't we call this a while back that it was going to get canceled?
There were rumors that it was getting canceled when it didn't show up because it was delayed. And Jeff has been delaying the book so much because he was working on Doomsday Clock and Three Jokers.
Yeah.
But then he was back on track, and it was clear, like, no, Killing Zone's coming. I'm finishing. What I think this is he's finally quit.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Now that Three Jokers is approaching being done, I believe it. I believe it.
I don't think they care about having a Shazam book if he's not writing it, and he's finally said, done.
I'll tell you what. No offense to Jeff Johns or Shazam, but I love Jeff Loveness, so it makes me want to read that last couple issues. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's did the Jeff Loveness. I think has filled in twice for Johns.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, that's going to be the next. Like when Bendis coming to DC, whatever Johns does is going to be big boy news.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hope it happens soon. That'd be wild.
You think he'll switch to Marvel?
I just want it because that would do so much to the industry. It would just change the industry on such a level because they both been at the same company for 20 years, and like switching is just what seems right. And I would just love to see what his take on these characters.
Would you rather Johns go to Marvel, or would you rather he go indie?
He doesn't seem like an indie guy. He honestly, and that's not a bad thing. Like some people, he just really seems to love the mainstream stuff. I don't think he's ever made a independent comic book.
I don't think so either. I was thinking about that just now.
And again, that's not a bad thing. I love my superheroes, and if I got paid to write Superman, I'd want to write Superman. Yeah. I don't think he's an indie guy. I think he is a comic book.
I wonder if that's still true now.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this, and I was talking to TK Comics about this. That with supposedly John's leaving, and Snyder after Death Metal taking a much smaller role in the DC universe, I think the DC universe will be creatively controlled by Bendis as a whole. And I think now that Didio's gone, the fighting for control between the three of them will be done, and Bendis will just he'll be the Jonathan Hickman, he'll be the Brian Michael Bendis, he'll be the Jason Aaron, the one people like running the world, running the universe.
I
wish I were excited about that.
Is Jim Lee? Do Jim Lee and Bendis, do they get along? Like, do they seem to be like simps? You know what I mean? Like, because like I wonder if it would be like both of them working together, or because I don't think Jim Lee is gonna just let Bendis do everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think what's happening is, like, I don't mean like everything, but like the creative direction of everything. Like Jeff Johns creatively controlled the DC universe through Blackest Night.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Hickman creatively controlled the Marvel universe through Secret Wars. So what I think is happening is Bendis has inherited 5G. Whatever 5G is becoming, he has it.
I gotta say, if 5G is gonna move forward, Bendis probably is the best person for it, because Bendis's like most excellent things lately have been the introduction of characters like Riri or Miles Morales.
Yeah.
When he gets to do brand new
Naomi
takes on characters.
We have to talk about that because DC does not give a shit about Naomi, apparently.
Right.
Like she's not even on the cover of Young Justice anymore. Like what's up with that?
Yeah. But I mean, like, if they are going to push forward that 5G narrative, I don't know that there's anybody at DC better suited to bring in new generation types of characters.
Yeah.
Well,
that's where he
shines.
Shines.
So, did you see the Dan Didio interview that he did where he clarified that 5G was never supposed to introduce new characters?
Yeah, I did see that, but I wonder how much that is what Dan wanted it to be, and then what the company wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And where the two will meet. All I'm saying is, like, when we read the synopsis of what 5G was, if that is the motion of things still, Bendis seems like the right guy to fly that ship right now.
Bendis writes groups of teens and groups of young people very well.
And introduces newer and more diverse characters better than most.
Yeah.
Better than most.
100%.
I would really like to see those 5G, those generation comics, those one shots come back, because I was into those.
Yeah.
Not so much 5G after it, but like that was fun to me.
Again, like if I'm gonna burp, excuse me. Let's say the Dan DiDio version of 5G, where it is all the characters that we like it is Tim being Robin, or excuse me, Tim being Batman, and Cassie being Wonder Woman, all the characters that we want to see evolve into those characters. If that's what it is, I'm cool. But the rumors were it was a bunch of new people or characters that shouldn't be those characters. So I guess we'll never really know. But Sparks is right. Bendis is the guy for that. If they're really doing it.
If they're doing it, if it's still coming, I think Bendis has control of it. And from the next couple of years, Bendis will be in control of the DC universe creatively.
Yeah.
That can be good.
It can be, because his stint at Marvel, there is a legacy behind him.
Yeah. I think he may have lost touch. To be fair, that's me being harsh because I don't like a Superman or anything he's written at DC so far. But he also can get good creators to do different things. So there are also he's really good friends with creators.
Greg Rucka's Lois Lane, all his friends are here. So that means Matt Fraction and Greg Rucka will be writing other DC Universe books soon, and that's only a good thing.
Yeah. So there could be good runs still in the universe, even if I don't like the direction of whatever that next event is going to be. It's Big Leviathan or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Detective Comics is coming to another landmark.
Wait, sorry, I just want to touch on real quick. We also don't really know how much of it Bendis, not to put too fine a point on it, I'm not saying he's blameless, but we don't know how much control he really had of guiding Leviathan, as much as it being something that was wanted of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's talked about having complete creative control over his stuff.
That's not always true. That's not always true. I'm just saying, I don't think Bendis went to DC and suddenly got terrible.
No, I don't think so. I think I think the past couple of years hasn't been very good.
Sure.
From Bendis. And I'm not talking about this. He did Civil War 2, and I think Civil War 2 is crap.
That's true. I grant you. I grant that. That's fine.
So I think that he's...
But at the same time, he was writing other things that were good, like Ironheart.
What was I saying? I just think that he... AT&T spent too much money on Bendis to reel him in. They spent a ton of money on him and have talked about how much of a financial risk that was and how much that went involved in firing Dan Didio. I think they put too much money on him and just said, do whatever you want. We need to make this worth it.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
sorry, I want to get back to Ben. What do you think about Johns? Do you think he'll go to Marvel? Do you think he'll go to Disney, or which do you want him to do? Also, Brandon, I just noticed you putting the Fake Nerd Podcast logo in here. That's a nice touch.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, isn't it glorious? Okay. Johns at my gut is telling me Johns might jump ship to go to Marvel. I'm trying to think of what kind of Marvel character or team or book Johns will write. I'm also trying to think I was going to ask if Johns ever written for Marvel before.
Yes, he's written in Marvel before. In the early 2000s, he wrote an Avengers run.
Okay, that's something I should probably look into.
He's never shown love for the Marvel characters like he has the DC characters, to be fair.
Yeah. That's why I knew that part of it, which is why my instinct is like, I think that coupled with the fact that from an outsider perspective, it seems like he's kind of been hammered by the corporation side of working in
is he going to turn into a Rick Remender?
This is what I'm wondering. Yeah. This is what I'm wondering, if he's just going to go off on his own, create a universe, but create his own universe.
Yeah.
He could do that too. There are times, like when we were talking about how Jeff Johns is like constantly fighting for, like, he had a hell of a time trying to get Doomsday Clock out. He's been going back and forth with Shazam, which is a character he loves. And
the War of the Seven Seas.
Yeah, War of the Seven Seas.
That was how much has been taken from him. That's my point.
Don't do that to me.
How much has been taken away from him as a storyteller?
Yeah.
I just don't know that he's, like, regardless of the fact that Marvel might treat him better, I don't know if he's ready to go back into that environment. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if he's at a point where he's like, I want to be in control. Really in control.
Yeah.
Like, just hearing all the stuff that Jeff Johns is going through, I feel like this guy just needs to take a vacation for a while.
Yeah.
Just take a break. Get to just lay some roots down, just veg out for a bit, and then if he wants to come, I will have no qualms of him going to Marvel. I would miss him at DC because I love how he writes DC characters, but he's getting a lot of shit at DC now, and it sucks. So if he goes to Marvel, and if Marvel wants to play ball, cool. If he wants to go create his own stuff, cool. I like it. I feel like when writers get to do what they love and what they know that they're doing is a passion of theirs, the good stuff comes out. His first Aquaman run, spectacular, of the New 52. His Justice League run, I really enjoyed. Not the best, but I really enjoyed.
I think that book ends really strong.
Justice League?
It ends so much better than it starts, 100%.
The Dark Side War?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably pick up the Dark Side War. I can't believe I stopped by, and that's beside the point. But just when Johns does good shit, it's really, really, really good. But he gets, like, Doomsday Clock. Even though Doomsday Clock went through a hell of a production cycle, it was still really freaking good. I really freaking enjoy it. So I just feel that if after this, he should take a break, and then wherever he goes, just let him do his thing. That's my point of view.
If he leaves.
If he leaves.
All right. So Detective Comics is coming up on a major landmark again.
Again.
In Detective Comics number 1027.
Not to toot my own horn, but I think I remember saying something about this back when they were talking about 1,000, just 1,000.
Either you or Sparks did, but yeah. This is going to be a 144-page special, basically a trade. It's going to have creative teams of Greg Rucka, Eduardo Risso, Grant Morrison, Chris Burnham, Tom King, Walt Simonson, James Tynion IV, Riley Rossmo, Peter G. Tomasi, Brad Walker, Dan Jurgens, Marv Wolfman. No. Bill Sienkiewicz. No, it's Emanuela Lupacino. Yeah, okay. Brian Michael Bendis, David Marquez, Mariko Tamaki, Dan Mara, yeah, Scott Snyder, Ivan Reese, Kelly Schutaconic, John Romita Jr., Klaus Janson, Matt Fraction, and Chip Zdarsky.
I recognize every single one of those names. That's going to be a great book. Not worried about it.
I recognize a good chunk of those names. Chip Zdarsky is one I was like, really?
Yeah, this will be dropping on September 15th of this year. So
okay, cool. I'm gonna probably pick it up. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, it's got a good team.
Well, also because it's the actual 1,000th issue of Detective Comics with Batman in it.
Yeah. You honestly had me at Grant Morrison and Chris Burnham coming back together. That's their iconic Like I love everything. I talked about before. Morrison's Batman stuff is my favorite Batman stuff, and just them coming back together, even for a couple pages, good enough for me, baby. I'll buy it.
Yeah, that makes that 1000th issue look like a joke.
Hellblazer Rise and Fall is coming to the Black Label from Tom Taylor and Derek Robertson.
Yeah, baby, that's the boys artist.
Yeah. The solicitation reads, in Hellblazer Rise and Fall, a new 3-issue miniseries by Tom Taylor and Derek Robertson launching this September, a billionaire mysteriously falls out of the sky and is gruesomely skewered on a church spire. Even stranger, they have angel wings attached to their back. More bodies soon follow, raining death and causing widespread panic. Detective Aisha Bukhari is stumped by the phenomenon. Until she's visited by her childhood friend, occult investigator John Constantine, DC's Hellblazer soon discovers a link between the falling elite and a shocking moment in his and Aisha's misspent youth. How do these killings tie to the first act of magic ever committed by John Constantine? How does this involve heaven and hell? 30 years later, Constantine's no stranger to supernatural threats and hard-pressed to consider stopping any monster who haunts a nation by killing the most corrupt among its citizens.
30 years later, this is old man Constantine, baby. Yeah, I love it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this sounds awesome. I'm super into it.
So Tom Taylor has written Constantine before.
I'll be back.
P-time? Yep. Oh, yeah. So Tom Taylor has written Constantine before. I believe we've all read it in Injustice. That's the only time he's written Constantine. He has written
in Deceased.
Yes, in Deceased. So he has a little bit of history. I did see online, there are some people who aren't the biggest fan of his interpretation of Constantine because he's a little more Doctor Strange than he is John Constantine Hellblazer. He's way more with the weapons and the magic than he is talking his way out of shit. So I can see that, but I personally don't have a problem with it because the real Constantine hasn't been around for a long time. Sorry, John. That's just how Hellblazer is now. It's PG-13. It's not rated R. So now that this is a Black Label book, that means it can be rated R, and he can be his old shitty self. Sounds great. I love Tom Taylor.
This is also kind of what the Sandman Hellblazer book was trying to do. It was bringing back Old Man Constantine and kind of bringing it to its roots.
Yeah, I only read that first issue when it came out. It's still going on, and I think Sparks is still reading it, or he has been reading it. But it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
I'm definitely stoked for this one.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so Dark Knight's Death Metal wouldn't be a DC event without a ton of tie-ins.
Oh boy!
And they have announced 3 this week. The first one is called Trinity Crisis, written by Scott Snyder, with art by Francis Manapul. Good team.
Hell yeah.
With Superman freed from his new Apocalypse prison, the classic Trinity lineup is back together and ready to rock their next gig. Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman amp up their power to launch an assault on Castle Bat. And that's just the warm-up act. 3 walking nightmares are hidden deep inside the fortress, but these dark multiverse versions of the Anti-Monitor, Superboy Prime, and Darkseid hold the key to humanity's survival. The Justice League have to face down their old nemesis, but will round 2 be that of our heroes?
So, alternate universe Darkseid,
or dark universe or dark multiverse energy infected, like Jim Gordon was.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. I liked all those tie-ins from the last book. So if it's kind of just more of those, just dealing with more of the dark multiverse creatures and whatever, I'm down, man. Scott Snyder knows what he's doing.
The second one is Multiverse's End. This is my most anticipated. I'm super stoked for this. So Dark Knight's Death Metal Multiverse's End, written by Joshua Williamson with art by Juan Gideon. Perpetua, mother of all existence, has culled all life and creation in this multiverse, condensing all beings to one planet, Earth Prime. In her quest for power to dominance, she rules absolutely and in totality. Using her children, the Monitors and the Anti-Monitors, as her heralds and destructors, but a group of heroes banded together across the multiple worlds in a last-ditch effort to stop her from destroying all of existence. Owlman, President Superman, Iris West, Captain Carrot, Guy Gardner, and others choose to make their final stand in a battle they're destined to lose.
Wow.
Yes! President Superman, Captain Carrot.
Yeah, anytime you get Carrot Man in there.
That's Calvin, what's his last name? Coolidge? President Superman?
President Coolidge, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I think
Calvin Coolidge is the Superman in this one? Calvin Coolidge, our old president?
No.
Calvin Coolidge is a real person, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I only know him as President Superman.
It's a
No.
It's not Val-Zod.
Val-Zod is the Tom Taylor introduced Earth 2 Superman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Ryan, you're right. It is Coolidge. It's Calvin. Frack. Hold up.
President Superman is from Earth 23.
Yeah, Earth 23 Superman. Hold up, I'm looking it up.
But this one,
right.
This title brings back together what the Multiversity introduced, which was the kind of the Justice League of the multiverse. And we'll get two things. The next one is also about this, but the fact that DC hasn't done a Justice League of the Multiverse book.
Calvin Ellis. That's his name.
The fact that DC hasn't done a Justice League of the Multiverse with President Superman, Captain Carrot, Iris West, Flash, like all those characters, Aqua Girl, Atomic Batman. Like you can have a title just that and it'd be ongoing, and that'd be awesome. Just them solving the multiverse's Justice League crisis.
They've just been waiting for Bendis to get to it, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Morrison should be writing it.
Yeah.
No. Bendis.
So Marvel had this comic come out in the 80s, it's called Exiles. It's about a bunch of multiversal people protecting the multiverse. And I'm like,
they relaunched it.
Yeah, like 500 times over 30 years. I'm surprised it really took DC this long to do this kind of book. Yeah.
Well, Multiversity introduced these characters as kind of this in the House of Heroes, and I really like the concept. And Multiversity 2 was supposed to go more into that, but who knows what that book is anymore?
Right.
But he clearly had the idea that, and they've popped up. Snyder used them. They've shown up. So I really wish that they would just have an ongoing title where it just bounces around the multiverse. They talk about there's multiple Ori of worlds, so this multiverse isn't the only multiverse. And
think of like a Doctor Who comic, man.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I will not lie, Brandon. I think it's because of you that every time I see Captain Carrot pop up somewhere, I'm like, oh, hey, it's Captain Carrot. And fans like, who?
I really like Captain Carrot. There's an issue of Convergence where Captain Carrot fights Harley Quinn and gets poisoned. Yeah.
Man, those tie-ins were way better than that Convergence book.
Yeah. The other one that I'm excited for is called the Dark Knight's Death Metal Speed Metal, written by Joshua Williamson, with art by Eddie Barrows and Eber Furriera. Sorry, I can't. Sorry. My mouth doesn't make those shapes. It's the drag race from hell, taking place after the events of Dark Knight's Death Metal #3. The Darkest Night is after Wally West and his Dr. Manhattan powers. Thankfully, Wally has backup in the form of Barry Allen, Jay Garrick, and Wallace West. It's a knockdown, drag-out race through the wastelands as the Flash family tries to stay steps ahead of the Darkest Night and his Lightning Knights. So I'm excited for this one because the other thing that I'm shocked that DC hasn't done in regards to a Harley Quinn Ivy ongoing, a Justice League of the Multiverse ongoing, is a Flash family ongoing.
Yeah, like a speedster book. Yeah.
Ghost Racers.
I was thinking Ghost Racers too, but I didn't say it.
You're not wrong.
I know.
But a Flash family book.
The one specifically sounds so much like Secret Wars.
I'm sorry, I haven't even read Secret Wars, and I saw all these announcements. I'm like, this is just Secret Wars.
Yeah, yeah. So the fact that DC hasn't done like family books, like they do it with Batman and his family, but like do a comic book that's just called Speed Force and have it be the entire Flash family doing stuff together.
Superman had one. Yeah, like why doesn't the Flash? Green Lantern has his whole core. Why can't Flash have a family book?
Yeah, the fact that they won't do that is shocking. In fact, they keep trying to get rid of Flashes.
Yeah, right. That is a good point. I wonder if there is a history of like an old Flash family book or something that exists.
Maybe. I want there to be, because I like the Flash family. They're really great. Yeah. They play off each other really well. And now that Jay Garrick's part of the universe again, like, do it.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, speaking of Secret Wars, which is a Marvel event, we're going to talk about some Marvel comics.
All right, cool.
Iron Man is getting relaunched. We knew that Dan Slott...
That's the joke because I'm the Iron Man guy.
We knew that Dan Slott was leaving the book, but now we know that Christopher Cantwell is writing it with art by Cafu, C-A-F-U.
He writes Doctor Doom, which is a great book.
Armor designed by Alex Ross. This is what the solicitation reads. Tony is putting away his high-tech toys and high-profile image so he can get his hands dirty again. But can he really lay that Stark-sized ego down? Life isn't always that simple. Something that old friends and frustrating foes are quick to point out. If you strip a billionaire down to his bolts, does he run solid or just overheat?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't know what this means. because they also released some teaser images of him suiting up in the old school way of like suiting up with his suitcase, we're putting the thing up his leg like it's elastic armor, like from the 70s, right? So that's cool. But going back to basics for Tony Stark means him being a warmonger and being an asshole. And that's not what anyone wants from Tony Stark. We like that he's evolved. So I really hope, because again, this guy writes Dr. Doom, so he knows how to write a complicated person. I hope he doesn't turn Tony into the asshole he used to be, because that would ruin like decades of character growth that I talked about earlier with him being an alcoholic. I hope that they don't just go back to basics and make him a drunk again, because that is not just lazy. It battles everything that people with alcoholism go through, and it's not cool to see that in the comics you read.
I don't think that's what's happening here. I think what they mean is we're just stripping away the extra sci-fi and we're just bringing it back down to we're just grounding it a bit.
We want it to be like when Nick Spencer started Spider-Man.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
It's different with Tony Stark because his whole thing is about technology. So I'm just very curious. Like, I have faith in it. It's just the initial read. I'm just like, oh, how are you gonna do this? Because Tony's a very interesting guy, and like going back to basics. Like, again, will his ego get in the way? That makes me sound like he's gonna be battling his ego again.
Maybe it's about him trying to rely on like tech that isn't AI internet based as much, and him just like relying on him and his tech specifically.
With just his brains.
Yeah, and thinking that can be enough.
So yeah, the way Dr. Doom starts, like there's a impactful event that is the reason that the Dr. Doom comic is the way it is, and it kind of turns Dr. Doom into a different character. And I'm curious if that is the same direction that this comic will go. Like they make him like he has to rely on his smarts instead of his all his technology.
Right.
So we'll
could
see.
Be like the Iron Man 3 of comics.
It could be like the true. Now you sold me. Now I'm happy. I don't think
they're undoing the alcohol stuff.
I
would hope that if they are going to venture down that, it's more of him like hitting a low point and battling the like you never really stop being an addict.
Yes.
And if they were doing something like that, cool.
Yeah. I just again, this is a character that's near and dear to my heart, literally and physically, because I have an arc reactor tattoo. And I haven't read Iron Man in like 2 years after I read that first arc. So I'm like, I would love to read Iron Man.
Slotted.
I got slotted. You hate to get slotted.
Okay, so some good news on the Free Comic Book Day front. I don't have a confirmation on this one from comic book retailers. However, Marvel did say that this is happening, so we'll see. Coming July, Marvel will release their Free Comic Book Day issues to the public to stores. Instead of waiting for Free Comic Book Day, whenever that would be, if ever this year, they're just going to release them. So the two books, just to recap for the audience, are the FCBD 2020 X-Men #1, features stories written by Jonathan Hickman and Tom Taylor with art by Pepe Larraz and Eben Coelho, which is going to lead into Ten of Swords, which is the next event coming in September. That is going to be July 15th, and the FCBD 2020 Spider-Man Venom #1, featuring stories by Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman, Jed McKay, and Patrick Gleason.
Hell yeah!
Will be dropping on Wednesday, July 22nd. It also was supposed to be the first appearance of a new Venom character, but now it might not be because it was delayed.
It's Virus.
Virus.
The new Venom villain was named Virus. What timely character.
That latest issue was so cool.
Oh, I'm buying.
Because there's a splash page of like everything that's coming.
Oh, I did see that online though.
I hope there's some variant cover that features the Virus character just holding a Corona beer.
Oh my god!
I'd buy that.
I'd buy it too.
But that's exciting. The Free Comic Book Day issues are beginning to seep into the wild.
Yeah.
Boom Studios has announced a new title coming from Al Ewing and Simon DiMeo called "We Only Find Them When They're Dead." This sounds awesome. Let me read it to you guys. Captain Malik and the crew of the Vihan 2 harvest resources from the giant corpses of alien gods found on the edge of human space. While other autopsy ships race to salvage the meat, minerals, and metals that sustain the human race, Malik sees an opportunity to finally break free from his system by being the first to find a living god. But Malik's obsession with the gods will push his crew into danger at the darkest reaches of space unless the rogue agent on their tail, can stop them first.
Yeah, that sounds dope. I immediately thought of remember in Guardians of the Galaxy, there's the big nowhere head, I'm just imagining like, oh, this is a story about one of those miners and the shit they go through. And I'm like, cool. This sounds awesome. And it's Al Ewing, who we just read a comic by, so you know he's great. I'll buy any comic that dude puts out.
Yeah, especially Cosmic. Cosmic's great.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Star Wars. All right. From a certain point of view, The Empire Strikes Back is coming. This is the second From a Certain Point of View book. 40 stories by 40 authors coming out November 10th. We do not know who the authors will be. They are going to announce that this coming week. Proceeds from the book will be given to the First Book Organization, which provides books and learning materials for educators and organizers who help children in need.
Awesome. Good. Has anyone read this book? The first one?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes. Very good. Well, there are a lot of they're just really nice. They're really nice stories. One of the very first one, if I recall correctly, in the New Hope book is the captain of the ship with Leia on it from the beginning. Yeah.
Antilles, Wedge Antilles.
And it tells the story of like him right up to the last moments.
Nice.
It's a good one. It's just nice, literally being these different perspectives on the story, and not in a way where it's like, it's not fleshing out anything to like build some greater continuity. It's just trying to give you a different perspective of a character,
a different point of view
in the Star Wars world. And I think that's actually been a really nice, unique little collection of short stories that I appreciate a lot.
Excellent.
Okay. Quick other shit. The new Evil Dead movie is coming. It's called Evil Dead Now. This is the fourth Evil Dead film. Fifth, if you consider the remake. This time will be written and directed by Lee Cronin and will not feature Ashley Williams himself, Bruce Campbell.
Or
Jane Levy.
Or Ashley Williams from the remake too?
Jane Levy.
Jane Levy?
Jane Levy, yeah, it will not feature her, but it will feature a new female antagonist. Protagonist.
Okay, sure. I'll wait and see if Sam Raimi wants to give it a little bit of love, because like just hearing this, I'm like, I got that show. That was good.
I don't know that there's any value in a new Evil Dead that doesn't follow either of those characters,
or have any of the creative team involved.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
Yeah,
like if it's not Bruce Campbell and it's not that really good Evil Dead remake,
it's good,
that featured Jane Levy, and we're not following her still. I
And
don't really know that I need to do it one more time with a new character.
And also, like, I didn't exactly want it, but there was a shot deleted ending scene where Bruce Campbell was there.
Picked her up in a truck.
So like they were going to make a sequel of both of them and combine the universes together. And they didn't do that. And now
I would have rather that.
Yeah, and now they're just like rebooting it, not like starting over, but like do a reboot. I'm like, I don't think that needs it again. The last one was real good.
San Diego Comic-Con has announced that they're going to do Comic-Con at home this year. It will run online from July 22nd to the 26th, which would have been its dates no matter what. Plans for Comic-Con at home is what they have to say. Plans for Comic-Con at home include an online exhibit hall complete with everyone's favorite exhibitors offering promotions, specials, and limited edition products unique to the celebration. As well, Comic-Con at home promises exclusive panels and presentations about comics, gaming, television, film, and a wide variety of topics from publishers, studios, and more. As if that weren't enough, Comic-Con at home will also have a masquerade, gaming, and many other activities in which fans can participate from their own homes.
Cool.
I thought they would do this.
I thought,
sure.
It would be impossible to do in such short notice, but like to have like an online store of all the independent creators, and they can make like a little storefront for Comic-Con. Because then it'd be cool if like people just go to the Comic-Con store and just buy the little merch like you do at Comic-Con. But that would probably take way too much work between everyone involved for a month.
Well, Mainframe Comic-Con did that.
Did they really?
They had an artist alley. You could go to their websites. You could link to the websites.
Then there's no excuse not to do that for a Comic-Con.
Nope.
That's amazing. That's cool.
Yeah.
No, I did like the little joke because when this was announced, I saw a little like a little advertisement they did, and they're like, a little jab at themselves is like, no lines, no badges, everyone can get in. I was like, all right,
Cool that it's free. Like
It
this
is.
is
It
the
is
first
really cool
Comic-Con
that
in
it is.
existence that people can go to. That everyone can go to.
The Mandalorian has picked up Sam Hargrave, who recently directed the Netflix film Extraction,
Oh, I saw it. Yeah.
to direct an episode.
Yeah, he's a great. Extraction was his first movie, and it's an action movie. That he was like a stunt guy or whatever. So cool. More good action directors. That sounds good.
And the official Last of Us podcast has launched, which will go behind the scenes of the making of the first and second game. The second game will begin on July 7th, which is when they start diving into that.
Yeah, that game comes out in a week.
I'm not ready.
I don't think I'm gonna play it because it's really sad. I'm not ready emotionally. Or did you mean okay? Yeah, I'm excited for that game.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of the PlayStation, we're here, guys. We are now at the PlayStation shit segment of our show. We're going to talk about what happened was PlayStation did this online thing about an hour and 10 minutes. Really cool.
PlayStation did their E3.
Yeah, that's what it was. They just did their E3 conference.
And they announced tons of new games. But I want to talk about what do we think about the console, because they also revealed the console.
I'm somebody who doesn't really care what a console looks like. I think it's very meme-worthy. So the fact that it's very meme-worthy means it's a good-looking console to me.
I like it personally. I've always liked the white and black design aesthetic.
That damn Seto Kaiba meme got me laughing like an idiot for about 5 minutes straight.
I had the I saw the Eye of Sauron.
Oh, really?
You said the Cell one?
Yeah, my favorite is the one where it's on Cell's head.
Yeah.
Took that same concept and then painted it so it looked like Cell's
horns.
And I'm like, man, if that were a variant for like a fighters bundle, I'd buy that. So fast.
Did you see his Spider-Man one that he made?
Yeah, I did.
Oh man, if that were real, that would sell out in an instant. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to go game by game, or do we want to just talk broadly?
Game by game, because we're not going to talk about all of them in length. I think the big ones we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll just go down the list that I have here. Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah. So you're probably going to play that game soon. I'm the only person who's played it. Ben, you know Monster Hunter? Imagine a Western-made Monster Hunter. So the action's a lot more fast-paced. It's a lot more kind of like almost like a third-person shooter, but with bow and arrow, and you make traps and stuff, and it's really fun. Beautiful. People have been waiting for this game for the sequel for a long time. And it's a PS5 reveal game. So
Horizon. I have heard nothing but great things about Horizon Zero Dawn. And what was that?
It's a dinosaur game, Brandon.
Dinosaurs made out of electronics mixed with nature.
It is a post-apocalyptic game where the Earth is reclaiming after the war, and dinosaurs are mixed with robotics, and you ride on the dinosaurs.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
Hi, Mag. Mag says I'm only ready Spider-Man Miles game and Oddworld's Soulstorm. We'll talk about those in a minute.
Yeah. Horizon Forbidden West looks gorgeous.
Yeah, you can buy the first game right now on the PlayStation for probably $10 to $15,
and like the definitive one,
all the DLC. Yeah, that is a exceptional. That's like one of the best PlayStation exclusives.
I regret waiting as long as I have to start it, but I'm eager to get to it.
Great game.
Yeah. What's something I wanted to ask about the PlayStation 5?
Visually, Horizon has looked like one of the most dynamic console exclusives that I've seen. Like the art design is so broad.
Yeah.
So then they also revealed Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is the follow-up to the Spider-Man PS4 game. It was a PS5 exclusive. However, nobody can quite make clear whether or not it's going to be a small game or an added DLC.
No, they've come out. We know exactly what it is. It is a standalone game that's about 10 to 15 hours, like Uncharted Lost Legacy. Because there's no way you can make a fully fledged Spider-Man game in less than 2 years. That's not how video games work. This game is going to come out probably on both PS4 and PS5.
I didn't know anybody, myself included, who assumed that this was a brand new Spider-Man game.
There are a lot of people who think this is just a brand new Spider-Man game.
Before the trailer had ended, that is what we thought.
Yeah.
But once the trailer was over and it said it was coming out holiday this year, no, I did not think it was going to be fully fleshed out.
Yeah, they are using the New York from the PS4 game. They are turning it into a PS5 game, and they're adding Miles' story to it. It's going to be it's not going to be as long as the regular Spider-Man. It's going to be probably half the length. It's probably going to be either $40 or $50 too. It's going to be probably a budget game while we wait for Spider-Man 2, which is going to be the big boy, the big bad boy, because Insomniac is not just working on one game; they're working on 2 games. So now that both those games are going to be done and worked on, then they're going to work on Spider-Man, and we'll talk about that other game later.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm kind of sad because for such a small game, I don't want to have to buy a PS5.
I would not be shocked if it's also on the PS4. They're just not telling us that yet.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I'm gonna buy the PS5, but I would like to wait, not have to.
Yeah,
right
eventually I'm gonna get the PS5. Eventually, most likely that's gonna happen. But if Miles Morales is going to be as a PlayStation 4 game as well as a PS5 game when it comes out, then hell yeah, I'll pick up the PS4 version instead.
So a lot of people are thinking, because a lot of rumors have been coming out before this was announced, but that this is this is going to be a great, awesome PS5 game. But the real Spider-Man 2, it's going to be you play as both of them. It's a dual co-op experience, and if that's true, fuck you guys, I can't even imagine that.
We'll see.
Oh, God.
We'll see in about 4 or 5 years.
So Spider-Man 2 is called Spider-Man.
Yeah, like I really think it could happen.
I'm okay with it.
Probably the biggest fake out I saw was Resident Evil Village.
Yo, yes, give me. Oh my God. Okay, so I had no freaking idea that it was. I was thinking it was just gonna be another horror game. I didn't know what it was. I saw Village. I'm like, oh cool, it's called Village. And then I saw the 8 show up. I'm like, why is that an 8?
It's like this Resident Evil.
Oh, you motherfucker! I had no idea. I had no idea.
Remember when we played Resident Evil 7 and your wife or girlfriend that you had to behead? You remember her hair? How her hair looked? The hair looked exactly like the blonde hair in this game, and it's the same looking CG and whatnot. So I'm like, all right, cool. And this has been rumored for so long. And once the werewolf stuff started happening, I'm like, yeah.
Man, you know what? I haven't gotten 7 yet. But we played it for Halloween last year, and I had fun with it. It scared I got scared by my own damn shadow, for crying out loud.
That was so good.
But yo, we gotta play this for Halloween. Oh, but maybe not. When it does come out, we gotta play it for the Halloween. We can't.
A lot of people are again. It's just the first trailer, but it's 8, and it's half of that is 4. People are thinking of Resident Evil 4, but you start in a village and you go to a castle, and that's exactly what you do in Resident Evil 4. So this isn't a remake, but it's almost like a spiritual another Resident Evil 4. Where you start in a village and you work your way to the spooky castle with the spooky ladies who own the castle, and they're probably like crazy Dracula monsters and stuff.
But no Leon Kennedy and no saving the president's daughter, which I'm totally okay with.
No saving the president's daughter.
Saving the president's daughter.
Chris Redfield is back, and he looks sad and hung over.
Village freaked me the F out. I'm so looking forward to Village.
Hell yeah!
All right. Probably my most anticipated, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to Ryan, and I'm like, Brandon's going to be so happy.
Yeah.
He's going to be happy.
I love the Ratchet and Clank franchise. The PlayStation 2, I had every Jak and Daxter, every Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. I followed Ratchet and Clank to the PS3. I don't remember most of those games anymore, which is sad. I should go through them again. But I've never played the remake, and this is a sequel to the remake.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to go back through that remake.
Did you watch this on your TV when you watched all these trailers?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I was saying, because this game looks insane. This game looks so beautiful, and the stuff with the alternate realities, pulling them in and jumping between realities. It's like you can only do this on new technology.
We watched the conference, but we rewatched the Ratchet and Clank trailer, turning the high definition all the way up. And I think the Ratchet and Clank trailer, amongst all of these, did the best job of showing me what new console stuff is going to do. Yeah. Because it spent so much time with its gameplay, but I'm like, this feels like new console. Yeah. This feels like next generation stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the different dimensions, this was a bit of I don't know if it's just a bit of me hoping that Insomniac would maybe cut a deal with some other gaming companies, but since they had to deal with Interdimensions, I was really hoping that the big reveal at the end, instead of the girl, was maybe Sly Cooper, maybe Jak and Dax, because they're going to different dimensions.
That's you being too hopeful.
Yeah.
but still, the Rift Apart looks pretty damn good.
I got a game for you: PlayStation All Stars.
Womp womp.
Isn't that? Yeah, that's the Smash clone, isn't it?
Kratos messing with your Sly and your Ratchet and Clank. You go to PlayStation All Stars, baby.
Man, Nathan Drake fighting Parappa the Rapper. Man, what a terrific experience.
Oh God, I forgot.
No,
I never played Sly Cooper. I only played Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank.
They're good. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I always wanted to. I had the collection for the first 3 for the PS3, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, now that Insomniac is back making like super high definition Ratchet and Clank games, Naughty Dog should go back and make like a hyper realistic Crash Bandicoot and just like fuck their mind.
I don't think they own the rights to Crash. I don't think they own the rights to Crash Bandicoot anymore. I think that's Activision now.
I don't know because the last Uncharted game had Crash Bandicoot in it. So
no, you're right. You're right.
Yes, he did. Okay, Demon's Soul remake. Take it away.
Yeah!
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so Demon's Souls is the very first Dark Souls game. It's not called Dark Souls, but it laid the foundation for it, right? And we've all played Jedi Fallen Order. You know what a Dark Souls type game is. It's really challenging combat that makes you get good. This is the one that the least amount of people have played, including me, because it was the availability was really scarce, and it was a Japanese made game in America, so just nobody knew about it. When they made Dark Souls got really popular, so then Demon's Souls became retroactively more popular, but that game is almost non-existent. It's hard to buy now. So this is a remake from the guys who made the Shadow of the Colossus remake, and Ben, you know how great that remake is.
Yes, I do.
Have made like the last decade, they're like the remake people. They've remade a bunch of games, and this game looks no different. This is a from the ground up, like almost just a new game. It looks like a completely different game. It's so beautiful. It's unbelievable. Like you've seen some side by side imagery of it. Like it's for fans of the series. Like I thought it was going to be a Bloodborne. There's rumors there's going to be a Bloodborne remaster, right? But that game's brand new. That came out a couple years ago. The fact that it's Demon's Souls shows that Sony cares about its fan base, because Demon's Souls is like the long lost child that you can't find, and you found them with Google Maps, and it's got HD remake and it looks great in multiplayer. I'm just so excited. I am so excited. The world's excited.
Ever since Fallen Order was fun, I fell in love with Dark Souls 3. I'm going to most likely get the Dark Souls remastered game probably, because now I love Dark Souls. I love the gameplay. I love the challenge. It doesn't make me want to chuckle. Like it's fun. It's really fun. I only knew Demon's Souls by name and by association. Now that I found out that they're remaking it in HD for the PlayStation 5, I'm fried from Futurama. Shut up and take my money. Just here it is. Give me Demon's Souls.
One of the things, so Demon's Souls, obviously a lot of these games are unforgiving, but Demon's Souls was ultra unforgiving because it had a thing called world tendency, and the more you died in your world, the harder the game became. So how shitty is it that if you're a new player to this game, the worse you are, the harder it is. So you have to get double good, and that's a thing that makes Demon's Souls really controversial, because like it's impossible to get good when you keep making it harder. But that's one reason people love the game. So people are wondering if they're going to do like a quality of life, make the game better, use some of the newer combat and stuff. And I'm like, no. Make it as hard as it was before. We don't sugarcoat it. Give us that gravy. Give us that hard gravy. I want the gravy. That's all.
I know you do.
Okay, Deathloop. This looks interesting. This is if you die, you start back from 1. You keep trying to kill this one dude.
Ben and Ryan and I were really pumped when this was announced last year at E3.
Oh yeah.
It's nice to see more of it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is Arcane who made the Dishonored games, and if I'm again the only person who's played the Dishonored games, but this is the exact same gameplay, like to a T, like the teleporting, the stabbing guys, jumping off roofs. It's the same engine, just with multiplayer now, and that's great. These guys make fantastic stealth and action games, so I'm pretty excited. I love multiplayer. I'm excited to see how the multiplayer works, because it kind of didn't really show it.
I love the aesthetic of the game. I love the aesthetic. I love the voice acting. I just love how the trailer kind of made it look like an old 60s pop movie in a way, especially how stylized it was. But also, I like how it was blunt. Like, I'm going to die a lot, but I'm going to try and take every one of these mother effers with me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. This is
Yeah.
the new Little Big Planet, right?
Yes, it's made by Sumo Studios because Media Molecule, the makers of Little Big Planet, have moved on to Dreams. Fun fact, Dreams is actually a game I was playing this week, but I forgot to talk about it. But it's a game maker, much like Little Big Planet was a game maker. This is just a platforming adventure with Sackboy. It kind of takes away everything people like about Little Big Planet because it's about game making, and it looks like a fun adventure. I don't know who really wants it. I guess if you like Sackboy, it's
Yeah, it kind of looks like their version. It's obviously. I had a point. What I'm trying to figure out how to word it better. It looks like them trying to pull a Super Mario 3D World.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a 3D platformer. They're trying to pull some love of Sackboy. I'm like, hey, this is kind of like our version of a Mario game, but it's not. But it's with Sackboy, and I know there are people who love Little Big Planet who will live and die by those games, but. I mean, it's cool. Sackboy's back, but I don't have a nostalgia for the game, so I'm not gonna really. I mean, it looks like a fun 3D platformer. The designs are cute, but besides that, I think I'll pass.
Speaking of nostalgia for the game, Hitman 3, Ryan.
Oh boy, this was such a surprise, guys. Hitman has the best trailers because they always have that super cool synth music and people like dancing, getting murdered, walking and talking. I didn't think this was going to come out this soon. I guess this is just going to be more of like Hitman 1 and 2 just with better graphics, and that's not a bad thing because that gameplay... Dark Forest, yeah, I did mention that, yeah. Like, we haven't had like a spooky woods yet. The gameplay for Hitman is perfect. They don't need to change anything, honestly. They can add stuff to make it better, but it's perfect. You don't need to change it. It's going to look good. The story in Hitman is actually really good. The story has always been kind of like really wacky and crazy, but they added like a really good personal touch to this new trilogy of games. So I'm very, very stoked that I get to play a new Hitman in January. That's 6 months away. Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Boy, this is not the game I thought it was going to be based on the teaser from last year.
Boy, how?
Nope. It is. Ooh.
Not that I'm upset.
No. It looks.
I need more.
Oh,
I don't.
Okay, ready to go first.
And hand stuff looks very good. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think it looks very good. Tango Games, who made Evil Within, they got atmosphere and stuff down. So I'm not worried about the game being spooky. I am worried about the game not being spooky when the first person looks like this the whole time. I don't know how that's gonna scare me because I found that looked kind of bad. It looked kind of bad. And that game is over a year away still. So I hope they refine it, but that's not what I thought that game was going to be.
Yeah, it's weird because just thinking back on the E3 presentation, of course, when that one lady came out and she's like, "It's spooky." I was hoping for it's spooky. It looks creepy, but doesn't look spooky. I mean, there's some horrifying imagery. Don't get me wrong, but it just looks like an action game.
I agree with Ryan that I'm not really worried about the atmosphere aspect because Evil Within nailed that too. Then
I open the door, I'm in a meat grinder, and the next thing I know, I'm in an abandoned village. What's going on?
Yeah, I expect that it'll be plenty spooky.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about that aspect.
Yeah, but the moment-to-moment gameplay, I'm not sold yet.
Okay. Pragmata. Which one's this?
Oh, this is the guy in the spacesuit, and they go up
spacesuit dude, and the thing
the robot girl. I think this looks cool. Don't know much about it.
I don't remember this one.
Was it in the astronaut suit, and they go up because the satellite's crashing down to Earth, and they fly up and they land on the moon?
Right. Oh, and the little girl on the moon. Yeah. It's just a trailer. That game's coming out in like 7 years.
Conceptually, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
We have nothing more to say because we don't know.
Yeah. The problem with a lot of trailers is like, oh, it's a good CG trailer. What's the game?
What's the gameplay, guys?
I put this one on here, but we don't need to talk about it. Astro's Playroom?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it long. It's another fun platformer. Astrobot is like a new PlayStation icon. The PlayStation VR has a great Astrobot video game. Astrobot VR is one of the best VR games. So I think they're trying to capitalize on Astrobot.
Yeah. They're talking about the controller. The controller is super, super sensitive and shit, right?
Oh, yeah. It has like super rumble and like super audio and like
haptic feels are on, like it's like haptic feedback or something.
As Mag said, Oddworld Soulstorm.
Woo! Oddworld is one of the most unique video game franchises in existence. Lauren Lanning started this decades ago as a cool platformer. They eventually turned into Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, which was a third-person centaur bounty hunting game. That's a lot of cool. Yeah, Brandon, it's spooky weird. You use live ammo, use bugs and critters as your ammo.
I remember that.
Oddworld is a super, super unique franchise, and Soulstorm is going back to its platforming roots. It also has a really dark, like, oppressive undertone of like slavery and like totalitarianism and all that shit you don't want to talk about. But it's really fun, and I'm glad that Lauren is still making games like 30 years later.
I was thrown off in the presentation because the guy who presented the game said, "Hey, here it is in all its funny glory," and the trailer was very serious. Like the music
I think
was
joking.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing funny in this. People are dying, and I feel bad for them.
Lauren Lanning is a very openly liberal type of dude who is not afraid to tell you if you're a bad person, and I love him.
All right.
It looks very Mad Max.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, Returnal. Which one was this one?
Oh, this is about. It's kind of like Deathloop, but it's about a woman in space.
Oh, and the planet changes every time she dies.
Yeah, it's a behind the shoulder shooter, or a third person shooter.
And she looks like Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah.
This one looks cool. I like the imagery. I like the aesthetic of it a lot.
Yeah, so
it's a terrible name.
Yeah, Returnal's a bad name. Yes. So Housemarque is a PlayStation independent developer who, up until then, has made really small scale games, and this is their biggest adventure yet. They make the type of games where it's like top down, and like you have to like avoid the bullets. So you see some of that in this trailer with like the spheres coming at you, like in Nier Automata, Ben.
Yeah, like Bullet Hell.
That Bullet Hell. Thank you, Bullet Hell. This is like Bullet Hell type of game, but in full like behind this the shoulder third person, and it's good for them. It looks super cool. I love the Lovecraftian aesthetics to it.
Yeah, I do too. Destruction All Stars. That's the racing one, right?
The Demo Derby one.
Yeah, it looks like a mix between Mario Kart Battle Mode and Rocket League, and I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, I don't care about racing sports games or anything, but I do love a good Twisted Metal or a good demo kart game. I haven't seen one in a long ass time.
It's very cartoony. I kind of dig that. It's not like nitty and gritty like Twisted Metal is, but it's very like, hey, we're here to have fun. I kind of really hope to play as the character with the cat helmet on, where it's like the anime things or the anime eyes.
Yeah. And you can get out of your car, so I'm wondering what the mechanics is of like if you get your car back after a while,
or you can steal someone else's.
Or you steal someone else's. Yeah, I'm curious about that. But I love breaking cars apart more than I love driving them. So let's hope it's good.
Yeah.
Is Burnout 3 Takedown one of your favorite games, Ryan?
No, it's not one of my favorite games, but it's definitely one of my favorite driving games. 100%.
There you go.
That's more of a puzzle game. Good bringing that up, Ben. Burnout's more of a puzzle game than it is a driving game because it's about getting more points and destroying shit.
Project Athia. Which one was this one?
I have no idea what's going on. It looks dope, but
it's who knows. It looks visually very interesting, but we know nothing. It won't come out for years.
Yeah.
You're right.
What was the character in this one?
We don't know.
I don't even remember.
A lot of people were thinking it was Final Fantasy 16, and now it's like Project Athia. I was like, nope.
Oh, I don't think so.
Dude, I don't think we're going to get Final Fantasy 16 until like the year before the PlayStation 6 is announced.
Yeah.
What about Stray?
This is the cat game.
Yeah.
Play as the cat.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is the same studio that made Soma, which is a game that we played last year, Ben. The underwater game.
Oh, the underwater one.
Yeah, so they're all about sad, depressing shit. So it's about, a cat living in a world full of robots, but the robots are dealing with sad shit too. It's a cat adventure game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Fang's going to want me to get
a little backpack?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? I think once I get my PS5, this is probably going to be one of the first games I'm going to get because Fang's going to want to play it because there's a cat involved.
Yeah. Real quick, Brandon, one of the great Twitter images I saw, it was just a picture of the cat with the backpack. And it's like, of all the PlayStation icons, we choose this one for the PlayStation 5. And it's just the cat like this. Straight cat.
Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Kena.
Okay, so we don't know much about this game, but this is the one I'm most excited for because of the art style, the cute little characters, and what little gameplay. Now, this is pre-alpha. This is very early gameplay, but it looks very inventive, and I really dig it.
Yeah.
We were watching Giant Bomb's coverage of the conference, and they talked about how someone mentioned on there that it looked like the PlayStation 2 era of like creating its own thing and just being
its own game.
A good little adventure visual creation. And I think that's very accurate. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks really cool and inventive.
Yeah. It's very early.
This one too. Yeah, because it seems like in a type of adventure game kind of thing that would be more in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how many of these I'm gonna get. I have so little time once things are going again.
Bro, this is still like 6 months to a year away. We're
You need to play one game at a time.
Yeah.
And who knows when we're all gonna get a PS5 anyway? Because that's one thing up in the room we're probably gonna talk about in a bit.
If my mom doesn't hate me, I'll ask her for it for Christmas.
Probably these holidays, Ben. Probably these holidays.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this one looks good. Do we want to talk about Goodbye Volcano High?
Dinosaur people.
So that also has a lot of controversy behind it because one of the creators, I don't even want to get into it, but they posted some really gross stuff on the internet, and then they made this thing about teenagers, and the last thing they posted was gross stuff about teenagers. So I don't. A lot of people are hating on it just for the fact that it's dinosaur teenagers, and to them, I'm saying don't hate things just because they exist, but knowing further behind it, I might not play this game.
All right. Then let's go to Solar Ash. This looks really cool.
Which one? Oh, I don't remember this one either. Shit.
This is the one with the really like artful graphics, and he jumps into a black hole, and then a giant white lady was like, "Oh, you've arrived."
Yeah.
Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah. The skating one. Yeah.
Yes, this will probably be great. Hyperlight Drifter was great. This will probably be great.
Yeah. 100%.
Little Devil Inside.
Yes.
I love the cartoon design of this.
Yeah.
I want it to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be good too. I like how you're hunting monsters. It looks like a very kiddie version of Monster Hunter, where you have swords, guns, and also looks. I want to know what the deal with that old man is, though.
It's like his unapproving father or something.
Or like the employer who doesn't really care about him, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really hope this turns out to be a good game because it looks fun. It looks like something I'll really enjoy.
The art style is dope. I like it.
Bug Snacks.
Oh, this looks freaking cute.
What?
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2?
2.5.
2.5?
So this is a game where you're an animal and you eat bugs, and then the bugs become part of your body. And I'm just so about it. It just looks, in a world where it's just full of depression and sadness and all our games are full of death, this is about just eating bugs and getting bug arms and animal arms.
The bugs are fruit.
Are fruit, yeah. And then you have like a banana arm. I'm like, okay.
I saw like a centipede that was made out of 3 different sandwiches.
Yeah, it's hella cute.
There's like snails with ice cream cones as their shells. It's
Ben, have you seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2?
No, I haven't seen any of the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs movies.
Ben, you'd probably like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
But I know there's a joke about the leak in a boat, and it's an actual leak, and he goes, "Ah!" and he runs away.
That's Lord and Miller made those movies. The guys who made the Lego movie and Spider-Verse. Yeah, those guys are mad talented. You should check them out.
I know Terry Crews came to a screening of it dressed up as the character he voice acted.
Yeah, there you go.
He's the cop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing this at the PlayStation event, but I saw this somewhere else, so I don't know if you guys saw this one. But Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood?
Okay, so it's not at the PlayStation event. So because this is the week of E3, this was not the only press conference or thing happening. There are multiple E3 events happening. IGN is doing the Summer of Games, and then Kinda Funny on YouTube is doing the Guerrilla Collective. So there are actually about 40 or 50 more games that we're not going to talk about today because they're all indie games, because they would have been announced today on one of the 7 other press conferences, right? So if you guys do want to see more about smaller games that weren't tied to PlayStation, check out IGN or check out Kinda Funny on YouTube, because there are literally dozens of new games to talk about, one of them being Werewolf.
I actually have something to mention about, because of IGN Summer Games, Arcade 1-Up announced the new cabinets that are coming out this fall. And what are those cabinets? No, not X-Men, and a Marvel vs. Capcom one.
Yeah.
And it's going to have X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom, a bunch of the Marvel fighting games. I could get a Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet that fits in my home that's not going to break the bank. Holy shit, I am happy.
They
I
haven't
don't know where I'm going to put it, though.
given us a price yet, though, right?
No, not for that one. I'm assuming it's probably going to be like $400 or $500 probably, because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one is $500, and that's a 4-player one with 2 games.
Okay.
This is 2 players, so it's going to be a little smaller. Has 4 fighting games, but luckily, because there's going to be 2 different versions, an X-Men vs. Street Fighter one and a Marvel vs. Capcom one. Luckily, both of those cabinets will have X-Men, Street Fighter, and Marvel vs. Capcom, and the other 2 games are going to be different. Of course, the one I want is the Marvel vs. Capcom one, because that one has Mega Man on it, damn it, and I want the one with Mega Man on it.
I'm spending $500 on a Mega Man fighting game.
But it's got Street Fighter and X-Men, it's got Marvel vs. Capcom, it's got a whole bunch of shit.
I was looking at it, baby.
So
Overall, Ben's basement will literally be an arcade where he'll have all these arcade cabinets and no health insurance.
Yeah.
so with,
Minus that last part, that's my dream.
with all these things, were we more impressed with the Sony exhibit than what Xbox did a while back?
Yes, but also they were doing different things.
They're not fair comparisons.
It's not, because
we didn't get an Xbox E3 conference.
Yeah, that was just them saying like, hey, here's some of the games that are coming out, and here it is similar, but it wasn't the same scope or the same idea of like, hey, here's our E3 presence. It's just like, hey, here's something to tide you guys over.
Well, what I was trying to figure is, after that we were kind of apprehensive of the next generation of Xbox. We were like, this doesn't really get me excited for this. Does that happen here? Are we excited for the next generation of PlayStation?
Yeah, 100%.
I did want to talk about what we brushed past it, but the werewolf game.
Oh, sorry, yeah, werewolf. Werewolf: the Apocalypse - Earthblood.
Earthblood.
Conceptually, this looks incredible.
It is it is based off of the World of Darkness tabletop role-playing game. This is based off an RPG book set, and there have been multiple games in this universe, so this is not the first game. But it's cool that they're doing it, because Shadowrun is big, Cyberpunk is a big tabletop RPG. Yeah, I love werewolves. They're cool.
Yeah, I hope the gameplay lives up.
Yeah, they're calling it an action RPG, so that can mean so many things. Who knows what's.
All right, we're not done yet. We got to go through some trailer shit. You should have left the new Kevin Bacon.
Okay, bye.
I'm so glad that you put this on here because I almost forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this looks cool.
This does look cool.
They're directly addressing the awkwardness of Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this does everything I love in horror movies. You open a door and it's not the place you're supposed to go. It's spooky and shit.
I really like when he's measuring the inside of the inside of the living room, and then the outside is like, why is the inside bigger?
It's a TARDIS. It's a spooky TARDIS. The house chooses you. Yeah, I hope it's good because it sold me. Yeah.
We have a few horror trailers on here. This was the best.
Yes, I agree.
Let's go to the other one, Ghosts of War. Then also Haunted House.
Yeah, I actually thought I liked Ghost of War a little bit more than I did You Should Have Left.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
I think what it is because both Ryan and I agree conceptually. Love the idea.
Yeah.
Acting wise, really like this cast.
Every actor I love. Yeah.
Yeah. Shades from Luke Cage is in here.
Hell yeah.
And Brenton Thwaites and Hawk from Titans are both here.
Hell yeah.
However, all of the scary part feels generic and like stuff I've seen in horror movies hundreds of times.
We watched 3 horror trailers today, and like if you watch them all next to each other, this is the most bland one for sure.
For the scare part.
For the scares.
The concept sounds really interesting, but the scare part feels so afterthought and lackluster and unimaginative. Whereas the Kevin Bacon one, all the scary stuff feels very imaginative.
Yeah.
And the other one, the name escapes me, but the other one we're going to discuss also didn't feel like it was doing run-of-the-mill scare stuff. The Ghost House one from DirecTV felt like that.
From DirecTV. Huh.
Okay, Relic.
Yeah,
was the third one. I like this one. I think this one looked interesting.
I really like the main actor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm optimistic for it. It looked if you put this scary stuff then into the World War II one, if the house atmosphere scares were what was in, I'd be sold on that movie so hard.
Well, all 3 movies are about like being stuck in a house almost. That's what
yeah.
Yeah.
Relic looks I got a lot of not that I want to draw comparisons, but just like a vibe to it felt very reminiscent of the first time I watched the trailer for Hereditary.
Yeah. Like the dark tone. Yeah. Something's going on with that grandma. I really want to know what's going on with that grandma.
Yeah.
Inmate number 1, The Rise of Danny Trejo.
I am so happy this is going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
I'm so glad this is coming out. I can't wait to watch it. Danny Trejo deserves it.
So I already told him, but there's a Animal Crossing talk show called Animal Talking, hosted by Gary Whitta, who's the writer of Star Wars Rogue One and a bunch of other Star Wars comic books. He had Danny Trejo and Elijah Wood on 2 weeks ago, right? Danny Trejo, obviously we watched the trailer. We know how his entire life. He also has like 9 restaurants and taquerias in LA that he frequents and helps cook at. He is a exceptional human being who has had such an interesting life, from being literally, being like the most feared prisoner in LA to being one of Hollywood's most loved actors. Like what a story. And it's all like
he's got donut shops and tacos and taco stores and taquerias.
It's not like it's dramatized for a movie. That's his life. We saw the pictures in the trailer.
I want to go to a Danny Trejo owned taqueria.
Yeah.
I want to go to Trejo's Tacos. I would make the drive out to Trejo's Tacos. Yes.
Apparently, his taquerias and all those places are vegan friendly, and they have lots of like ethnic, like cultural mixes of like Vietnamese or other things. And he's just like, he loves food and he has enough money to just help out. And I'm just like, that's so good. That's so cool.
I'm excited to watch this.
I am too. Yeah.
Me too. Doom Patrol, season 2.
Did you guys watch this? Because like if you did,
I watched it.
Okay.
I watched it.
I watched
Doesn't
it
make sense.
half asleep.
Okay.
I watched it.
I figured I was going to watch the first season anyway, so I decided not to rewatch it to refresh my memory. So I figured you guys would just rather talk about it since you watched the first season.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because like watching a second season show you haven't watched, like you're not gonna get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
It picks up directly after the first season ended. You saw there's a daughter character gets introduced. She looks like a caveman because she is a caveman. That's stuff for later. It looks more like of the stuff I love. Like I'm glad they didn't show like too much because a lot of the heart of that show.
I would say about half of the trailer is actually from season 1.
Yeah, because like the real heart of that show you can't do in trailers because it's just like things you have to build up to are really emotional moments. So like I'm not. I have nothing to worry about with the show.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. It's around the corner.
That's the DC Universe shows.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, Eurovision Song Contest: The Story of Fire Saga.
Ho 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 ho! Yeah, baby.
This is we saw the music video for these people for the Will Ferrell, Rachel McAdams joint. This is what that is.
And we get to see Dan Stevens in this.
I didn't know Stevens was
And
in
Pierce
this.
Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
As
So excited.
this disappointing but really handsome father.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're talking about Sorry, I had to mute my mic and it just came.
Yeah, we're talking about Eurovision.
Okay. Yeah. This kind of reminds me of Blades of Glory a little bit.
100%. Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I've been excited.
Looks good. Yeah. And then the long-awaited trailer for Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Good teaser. Good teaser.
Yeah.
It's a teaser. I love it.
It's a teaser.
Yeah. That movie's not coming out for a year. Obviously, like there's a lot of special effects need to get.
It's coming
done.
out in August.
What? I thought it got pushed. What? Comes out in 3 months? Or 2 months? 1 month? Oh my god.
Yeah, we were talking about it. It was pushed up. It was pushed up a week.
Oh my god, you're right. Well, I hope that movie is good.
So do I.
I hope that it doesn't suffer from a
Waiting too long?
No, I was gonna say Dumb and Dumber got away with it when they did their revival because those characters were meant to be kind of stupid.
That movie's not good though. I've seen
No, but my point being, I'm getting to my point.
Okay.
Dumb and Dumber got away with keeping them locked in being the characters they were decades ago. I think Bill and Ted can't keep the characters trapped in being the exact same people they were decades ago. I think they have to have some amount of growth. I am not judging the film on this teaser for that. I just hope that's an aspect that is present, that they don't feel like they're just those same people without having grown.
Yeah.
And are just old now.
I think I do.
You see what I'm saying?
I do, 100%. I think the problem with just doing a sequel 20, 30 years later, like no matter what, you can't have those characters evolve because the whole point is like they didn't write the world-saving song, so they couldn't have evolved.
Here's my counterpoint. They're fathers.
Yeah.
They have to have evolved to some extent.
Mhm.
They can still be them,
Yeah.
but they can be grown.
I think
To some extent.
I do think we'll see that.
And I'm not saying that this film won't have it. I just hope that's something that's there, because I think when revivals tried to do Dumb and Dumber is the most obvious example, and it failed.
Yeah.
But I think but it had its excuse for this. But when revivals for films like this try to bring it up with them much older, it's very hard for them not to make them just feel like they're the same characters they were. And it's like, no, you have to be something a little more. And I am hoping that this film lets them be something a little more, specifically because I'm optimistic because they are fathers.
Yeah.
That has to be a part of their growth.
And the daughters are apparently like a big part of the movie.
Right. We saw them for a moment in the teaser.
So I like to imagine that maybe they stayed the same, like musically and like brain-wise, but they did evolve. They did become better fathers and stuff like that. So they became better people. But like, I see what you mean. I guess I need to see more of the movie to really.
So this movie is Ed Solomon has come back to write the script for this film. He wrote the first two.
Yeah, he's been championing this movie for a long time.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's happening, to be honest.
I need to watch those first two films before I see this one.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love to watch you guys know I love the Bill and Ted films. My high school senior quote is "Be excellent to each other" from that first one.
Yes, I know. You tweeted that at the Bill and Ted account.
Yeah, I did. And oh God, what was it?
Well, quick, I think you remember your senior quotes?
Our school didn't do them.
No, I don't remember mine.
Did yours do one, Brandon?
Yeah, we did both.
Yeah, we did. I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, but I'm excited for it. Just seeing Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter as Bill and Ted again is like, okay. And actually, just a side point, good on them, because they actually did a virtual commencement ceremony for the graduating class of San Dimas High, which is where the films were based in.
That's amazing.
So I thought that was really nice of them to do that.
Yeah, I love that Keanu. I hope there will be a George Carlin Easter egg. Says Matt. I agree.
Yeah.
That I wonder what they're gonna do, if they're even gonna have a Rufus stand-in, because like in the trailer it shows him just going into the phone booth. I wonder if they're not even gonna have a Rufus.
Maybe Rufus's son or kid.
Yeah. I just wonder like what you do with that character.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Our book club.
So Ben, it's your head again.
No, it is in fact time to review Artemis Fowl, the latest Disney Plus, I guess original. They dumped it on there.
I probably should have taken what Banny's grabbing right now before I watched this movie last night to make it better a little bit.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. That's my review.
Okay. So this is Artemis Fowl, the latest film from Kenneth Branagh. It's an adaptation of the books. It is on Disney Plus for free. It was supposed to have a theatrical release. So full spoilers from here on out for this film. So let's get right into it with initial thoughts. I'll go with Ben first.
This movie sucks.
Sparks.
I don't understand how you have a book series where the whole hook of the story is that your protagonist is a bad person, a villain, who grows to be an anti-hero as the series progresses, and you make this generic piece of garbage.
The nicest thing I can say about it is that it moved so fast I don't felt like I wasted my time watching it.
I wasted my time.
Yeah, Ryan wasted his time, and I feel like I wasted mine as well. It's also sad to see that Kenneth Branagh's latest film is also his worst film.
Yeah. I just was saying that one of my criticisms of the film is that the film moves at a clip. This movie doesn't stop.
You have no time to care about any character.
You have no time to care about any character. No time to be introduced to the world. You're just moving. And because of that, because it was so bad, I was just kind of like, well, at least it's over now.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think for people who know the books, they're a little more mad, because it's like, you know how you watch Batman vs Superman and Batman kills and you're like, that's fundamentally not the character? That's what this is. This is fundamentally not that character. And they even have aspects of it, but they cut from the movie in deleted scenes because they didn't want that character to exist for some reason.
I just couldn't get a hold on Artemis at all.
I feel like he's barely there. Like I feel like I watched the movie and the main character was like, I feel like none of these characters were in this movie at all. Like I feel like I learned nothing from anyone. Like I feel like I forgot.
It's such a shallow film.
I feel like Judi Dench was in it a weirdly too much.
She's like almost the main character.
The film has very little substance to it. I want to talk about the villain thing that you guys keep bringing up. Now, guys, I don't know what you're talking about. At the end of the movie, he clearly says he's a criminal mastermind. I don't know where you guys are missing.
That was so unearned. That was so dumb. What do you mean? No, hold on. I got to vent about this a little bit. What the hell do you mean you're a criminal mastermind? You literally you worked with the elf police to take down something, and now what do you mean? That doesn't make any sense.
The scriptwriter was like, "What are character arcs?"
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like anybody read this book.
No,
it feels like they read a synopsis of an idea.
I mean, the only thing from the book I do remember from what the little bit I did read was Artemis and the butler doing a back alley deal.
No, Butler, not the butler.
Butler, thank you.
Butler is his character. He's a bodyguard, not a butler.
Okay, so Artemis and Butler. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it was like the first chapter in the book. Artemis and Butler are doing a seedy back alley deal, and Artemis is telling how many weapons Butler has on him. That how he has like 5 different weapons, and he forgets one. He's like, "No, I also have the claw." She's like, "Oh yeah, he has that too. So don't mess with me."
Right.
I didn't get a single sense of that. Like the first scene, like one of my first note is Surf Ireland, man. Is him surfing on the waves.
When Butler is dying, I was like, "Am I supposed to care?"
I saw so many tweets of people talking about. I was optimistic, and then I saw Artemis surfing, and I went, "Oh no, no!"
Sparks, was this your Ozaru moment in Dragon Ball Evolution? Where it was like, "Well, this is freaking wrong."
Hold on, let me think about that for a second.
For the audience, what this means is
it should be when he shakes hand with his rival, saying, "Well, you're my best friend, Holly Short," or something like that.
Yeah, but that's too late. He's talking about when you knew this was going to be bad.
Yeah, okay.
That's the Ozaru.
For those of you who don't know, when Sparks went to see Dragon Ball Evolution, 30 seconds in, he goes, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Because in the opening narration of that movie, you know what? No, Ben, I'm sorry. It was when Josh Gad sat down in front of that stupid black and white camera and went, "Let me tell you a story about not the father, but the son."
Right, because
God,
this guy gets arrested, captured, and then he's taken to like an interrogation cell, and he just immediately starts telling the entire story
to Kenneth Branagh.
But it's because it was all part of the plan.
When this is happening, when he's doing this, and the narration keeps going, I'm like, "Oh, is this the whole movie?"
Yeah.
So I want to say, like, from the book reader perspective, I actually think Artemis Fowl can benefit from a narrator, but it's supposed to be a non-existent character narrator. Kenneth Branagh could have been the narrator and never shown up, and that would have been great, because like having an objective person explain the world lore, that's how the book is written, as you're encountering the events, is kind of nice. It's kind of fun. Explains how like dwarves like body works and things like that as it's happening. I think there was room for that to have existed in a film adaptation. This is terrible. Mulch is a character who's not even introduced until like the beginning of the 3rd act in the book. He is only brought in to do the act of breaking in to try and find out if Holly Short is alive. While he is in there, he cracks the safe, which doesn't have the whatever it's called.
Oculus?
Inoculus? Oculus? No, there's more to it. It's like Inoculus or something.
It's Oculus.
No, it's Oculus.
Yeah, it's Oculus.
I had
subtitles on.
It's not. I don't think it's really important.
No, I mean,
it looks like an acorn. The golden acorn. Just call it the golden acorn for fuck's sake.
So that thing doesn't exist in the books, just so you know.
I was watching it, and I kind of was thinking to myself, I like the aesthetic of this film. I like the design of this film.
I like design, yeah.
I like the designs of the elves. I like their world. I think the world building is there, just cut to ribbons.
Yeah, and again, if you guys after we record this, you should watch the teaser trailer just to see how different everything looks. Because like there's some stuff still there, but it's clearly they did almost like a Sonic second pass over everything.
I think that dome with the time where time stopped is actually it was a really cool visual.
Absolutely.
With the wave coming, I thought that was cool.
The time freeze is cool.
Yeah.
But that action sequence when the elves attack him and him and Butler are on the stoops is nonsense.
Yeah.
A lot of the action in this film is just nonsense.
I agree with you. Let's just get some things out of the way real quick. Artemis Fowl father was a villain and a criminal. He was never anything else. He was a villain and a criminal, and he went missing. And in the first book, he's barely mentioned. It's just he's missing and presumed dead by everyone else. Artemis Fowl's whole thing is he is trying to extort fairies to get a whole bunch of gold to make up for the losses that his father retained from the Russian mafia. That's the plot. So that he can fund an investigation because he's the only person who believes his father is alive. Artemis Fowl's mother is alive and is so maddened with the grief of the death of his father that she has endured a case of, they call it madness. She basically has Alzheimer's and completely forgets who Artemis is most of the time. But she's around and it's important. When things come to a head at the end, Holly Short is the hero of the book. Holly Short is a competent character who gets herself out and free from Artemis Fowl's clutches on her own, and then finds out they're sending in the troll and goes in to save lives because she's a hero. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, she stops the troll, but Butler does almost die. She heals him, and when Artemis sees that, he says, I will give back half of the gold if you will heal my mother, which Holly again does because she's the hero. That's supposed to be the story. That is not.
Yeah, that's 10 times better than what I saw on Friday night.
But Artemis Fowl, the villain, threw out. And at the end, when Holly gets back, they try to kill Artemis and everyone else in the building. And Artemis narrowly is able to help them escape because he's intelligent and planned for it. Because the whole thing is that here's how the fairy law works with them. They send in a retrieval unit to try and get Holly. Butler totally takes them apart. They set up the time freeze, but Artemis Fowl reveals to them that he knows how to escape the time freeze. He does. He breaks the time freeze. They send in the troll. The troll fails, so they drop a bio bomb, which Artemis also helps them escape. But they straight up try to murder him because he is dangerous, and they've never. This is the other thing. From the reader's perspective, you are meant to underestimate Artemis because everybody else is too, and he is the bad guy. When you think about like how other books are set up, and there's the opening event where usually you see what the bad person does to kick things off, that's how the book starts. It's Artemis going to a fairy to get a book all about their world so that he can extort them for gold. That's how it opens, and he almost kills the person to do it.
And again,
as a 12-year-old boy,
that scene exists, but they cut it from the movie because that would actually make him a bad person, as opposed to what he is here, which is I like an anti. Not even like this is one of the worst cases of showing me, not telling me. Or excuse me, telling me, not showing me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Because Mulch doesn't show up till the third act, but he's there from the beginning. And his whole thing is like, man, Artemis is so smart. Everyone always saying how smart Artemis is, and Artemis made this. You did not show me one instance of Artemis doing any of that yourself. You're just telling me he's smart. That's not how you show me someone smart.
Well, there's the thing with the. To be fair, there's the thing with the chair.
So that's actually ripped out of the opening of the second book, and it does happen. And that's like the only example of Artemis being intelligent and crafty. But I also think it's done in such a ham-fisted way because it comes from the second book. And in the first book is when we see Artemis just being intelligent by his actions. He outwits them. The whole thing is the way that he's able to capture Holly is because Holly is a fairy who needs to plant an acorn at a specific location in order to reconnect her magic with the earth and recharge. The only reason they are able to capture her is because she's weak. that was clearly, if you will go back to the teaser trailer, there's a sequence that doesn't happen in the movie that was clearly leading up to that moment that they just dropped. I can't stress enough that that's supposed to be how the dynamic works. And Holly and Artemis don't like suddenly bond. That's not how it works. Holly just does things to help him because they're right and they're the good thing to do, to not let him get killed, to help his mother who is suffering from grief and madness. She does those things because she's a good person. But it's not like they suddenly become buddy-buddy. They don't get along. She's still a bad guy. He is an evil little Bruce Wayne. I wish that came across in this movie.
I want to touch on Judi Dench a bit. I want to talk about Judi Dench a bit.
God, I hated her voice.
Okay, look, two people do the raspy voice in this movie. They shouldn't. But there's a funny joke about it that Josh Gad got me with when he's like, "We both sound like two groaning hippos." I thought that was funny. But I'm shocked at Judi Dench's commitment every single time I see her in one of these movies, in a bad movie specifically, because she is always given 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and it's kind of great to see her commit to this role. It's weird and wacky and shouldn't be in the movie, but she was fun to watch because she was committing to it. When she is able to, with a straight face, say "top of the morning."
Yeah,
it's easy to commit when you're supposed to be the straight man. But I credit her. Like, she's the best actor in this whole thing. I've given it her all.
Of the mains, I think Holly was probably the best for me.
She's just not in it enough.
She's just not in it enough. Like, I didn't get a sense of anybody's character enough. Maybe
no, neither did I.
Mulch. That's the name, Mulch.
I brought this up to Ryan. If you just like read the book and you knew the character of Mulch, I'm gonna tell you exactly who should play him just as he's written, because this is how he talks, and you're gonna get it real quick. It's Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais is exactly how Mulch behaves, how he interacts with people, how he talks. They Josh Gadded the crap out of that character to make him someone very different. I'm so sad about it.
When Josh
Not that I necessarily wanted to see Ricky Gervais.
Oh, we went. Oh, there we go. We're back.
We're back?
Yes. Not that I necessarily wanted to see Ricky Gervais play.
We had a mess up, sorry.
Yeah, but it would have been more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame.
It feels like they got Josh Gad because he's like Disney's dude right now.
Yeah. When he's in the mansion and they're about ready to fight the troll, and it's just kind of like, oh, you're part of this team now. Yeah. And that's the thing. My biggest problem with the movie is basically just that it goes nowhere and just ends. It has so little substance, and by the end of the movie, I'm just like, did anything actually happen?
So, like, we get to
the same thing.
We get to the final action scene like halfway through the movie. Like, when we get to the last place we're going to spend the rest of the movie, and then things just keep happening, and then there's an action scene, and then it keeps happening, and it's like, this. I just found it so boring. There's so much happening, but nothing's happening.
So the scene.
Go ahead.
No, you know the scene where I have quite a few notes here that I'm just like that. Just the whole, like, when Holly just, like, after she finishes her mission with the time freeze of the troll in Italy or whatever, she just, like, bounces to go to Ireland. She's like, screw my orders, I'm going to go clear my dad's name. Oh, yeah, I also wrote, well, fuck that guy on the boat when they put the time freeze on Fowl Manor. That dude's just done for. Oh, yeah, when Artemis when he first shows up and Holly's trying to glamour...
I like the real quickly... Sorry, Ben. I like the aesthetic of them getting pulled through the time freeze.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know at first. I thought they died if they got through there, but apparently they just like get discombobulated or something.
One dude definitely did. I don't know if that was a rare case.
Yeah. Anyways, like when Artemis, like when the niece, when Butler's niece and Artemis show up, and she's trying to glamour him with the glasses.
Character.
Yeah, of course. And then Artemis takes his glasses off. Glamour him! Get the hell out of there, Holly! He's vulnerable. He took off his one shield.
They became friends off screen.
I want to touch on the niece thing real quick. She's supposed to be the same age, but she's supposed to be Butler's sister. I don't know why they changed that. Their family is a family of bodyguards that live by a certain creed. Their last name is really Butler. In the book, it's a privilege when when the Fowls bond with one of them enough to call them by their first name. Artemis doesn't call Butler by his first name until the third book. So they just threw that right out, which is just, these are things that helped make these character relationships mean something. His sister is supposed to be tending to Artemis's mom while she's waiting to finish her bodyguard training. That's her role in the house. And they toss that aside too. I can't for the life of me fathom the decision to throw Artemis Fowl's mom out of this story.
And in looking it up again, Wikipedia is like credible or not, but apparently they did shoot stuff with the mom that just never made it to the final edit.
Yeah.
So apparently there's stuff with the mom they just didn't think was necessary.
And I'm throwing a lot of book stuff out here because I went through it so recently, and I read the first 3. That's all I've read of the series. I never finished the series. I'm kind of wanting to at this point. The second book is my favorite of those 3. And this film made it so that story is impossible because it took the elements of Artemis's whole thing in the second book is a quest to the Arctic to save his father, and that's when he finds out about Opal, the villain. So, cat stuff. So they just made it so that story that's so good, that story that is built by having the first book be an introduction of these characters and their relationships and how the world works, which is what the first book does. That's what it's really for, and then sets you up for the adventure that is the second book. They just decided that was never going to be interesting. And I know this was never going to get a sequel, but nonetheless, to just toss the possibility of the superior story out the window is insane.
Funny enough, my last note when the credits started rolling, my last note is, I'll take sequels that aren't happening for $100, Alex.
Brandon, the game is on. This is a game that the game is on.
Right.
Yeah, the game is on it.
Yeah, but one of the things I was talking about is like the action scene in the troll in like the main room in the house, like the foyer or whatever the hell it's called. There were like 5 shots, 3 or 5 shots of Artemis holding Holly's gun, fully extended, ready to go. The troll is wrecking shit, and he's not shooting it. He has the best shot. He has so many chances to fight back.
You're getting too caught up on the wrong thing, Ben.
I don't care. He just
that is poorly. That moment. The reason why you were so frustrated with that moment is because it is poorly edited. Because every action sequence in this movie is poorly edited. It is edited to a point that you cannot comprehend what is happening.
It really is Ron's worst movie. What a shame.
Also the kid who I do not like the kid who plays Artemis at all.
He's bad. He's not bad.
He's so flat. He's just so.
There's no. I did not get any sense of any like negativity or any like, well, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, like he never seemed like a con man to me. He just seemed like a snappy 12-year-old.
I don't know why it took me so long to make this connection. Do you guys want to understand Artemis Fowl real quick? Artemis Fowl is Damian Wayne without getting to live with Bruce.
There you
go. Okay.
That's who he is. That's who he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's it.
And at the end of the day, you said before, why would they choose to adapt a book series that is beloved for having a kid villain who turns into a better person, but he is a villain? Why would you choose that and then decide not to do that? That's the reason people like that book, because it's something different.
And not in a single book. He doesn't do it in a single book. That's such a...
They really could have had something super awesome here. They could have had their first, and it's not the first time they made villain-centric shows. They made, The Descendants or whatever you want to call it. It's not, so they've done it.
Yeah, but I mean, they made those kids good.
Yes.
Before the movie was over.
Yes, but you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
They're just too scared to just take a chance because, yeah, he's a jerk in the first movie. You know, he turns into I haven't read the later books, but he does turn into a better person.
I can't stress enough how weird and dumb it is to me that they created a MacGuffin that never existed.
What does it do? It has the power to do everything.
It has the power to go from one place to another or warp some. Like, seriously, my second to last note is, hold up, seriously, that's how they win.
Yeah.
That's how. We have this Opal person who you never see their face, and you see Artemis Sr. about to die, and then he just pops up in the basement, totally fine. And the villain literally goes, no!
I was shocked. Watching the rest of the movie, I was like, oh, we're wrapping up. That was it.
Yeah. I'm like, is this seriously how they ended it?
95-minute movie, man.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Is this seriously how they end this shit? Are we seriously done? What the hell?
I'm
Real
done.
quick, Holly is slightly whitewashed. She's supposed to have chestnut brown skin. And Butler and his sister are not supposed to be black. They're supposed to be very white Irish. But, make the bodyguard servant tiles the black people and make Holly not black. That's
and I give credit to I guess the studio, but Kenneth Branagh is Irish. This is an Irish production. The main actor, it's his first movie, he's Irish. They shot in Ireland. So for that aspect of it, to keep it true to Irish like lore and all that stuff, that's awesome.
their accents need to be better.
Is Colin Farrell Irish?
No, Judi Dench's is traveling all along the aisles throughout the film.
Yeah, she's everywhere in the UK.
Yes, Ben, he's Irish.
Okay, no, because Fan was yeah, babe, he's Irish.
Colin Farrell's Irish. Yeah, again, everyone's Irish. It's cool.
That centaur dude is Irish, maybe.
He's a real centaur. How about that?
I actually kind of like him a little, just a little bit. He had his funny moments.
He's a great character. They neutered him.
They make him go nay and like, and I'm just like, I love it.
Oh.
It's so silly.
Okay, I'm done. So let's rate and get out of here. Okay, Sparks, I'll go to you. Rate and final thoughts.
1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
This is worse than Mission Impossible International, right?
Mission Impossible International?
Men in Black. Sorry, Men in Black. The worst movie we've seen recently was, I think, Men in Black. That was the last really
I could
bad
still
one.
watch Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson interact with each other, bare minimum.
So this is now officially the worst movie that we've seen in a while. It's Artemis Fowl.
This is a 1.
Wow. Ryan?
I'll give it a 3. Like, this is definitely the worst movie that I've reviewed on this podcast, I think, because I know I gave Venom, I think, like a 5 or a 6 or something. This I was mad watching this.
Let me clarify real quick with my final thoughts. I find it unforgivable to just toss aside the main character's character in adapting. I mean, like, that's why it's a 1. It's a bad movie, but like this isn't just ignorance of the source material. This is just changing it completely and deciding that it was never relevant to why the books were considered beloved by anybody. And then, I find that utterly unforgivable.
And then they have the gall to call him a criminal mastermind still. Like that's you gotta pick one. You can't have both. It doesn't make sense.
So Ryan, what did you give it again?
3.
3. Ben?
Oh no, I'm giving it a 3 also. If I had read the books, if I had a love of the books, and this was the thing because I was actually wondering when the first book came out and I saw multiple books were coming out in the 90s, I was actually thinking, or in the early thousands, I was thinking, when is the movie coming out? Because that was like the trend. A big popular children's book pops up, the movie's gonna follow eventually. The fact that it took them this long, and this is what those fans got, I weep for them. This is just
I'm glad I stopped waiting for this movie 5 years after I finished reading the book.
This is just, don't waste your time even. Just, there are so much better things to watch. After watching this, I had to watch like a Marvel documentary just to cleanse my palate.
I'm glad we didn't go to the movies to spend money on this.
I am so happy I didn't spend $5 on this.
I think I would give it... See, it didn't make me mad. I just don't care.
Yeah.
So, like...
If you read the book, you'd be mad.
I guess I'd have to give it a 5. Like, it's just... Don't care.
Why not set that as your bar?
Because it didn't make me angry. If it makes me angry, that's when I go below. But it didn't. I just don't have any active thoughts of it.
Yeah.
I have no angry thoughts. I have no liking thoughts. It was just, for me, just be nothing.
It's a worse movie than a 5.
My rating system is my rating system. Lay off.
I had something and I lost it. I'll come back to it.
I do not think it's a 50% success.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't look at it that way. It's kind of like I don't look at it also like the school rating system. Like no, 5 just means it's a nothing. 5 just means it's nothing.
I was gonna say I have not read them, but there are a series of graphic novels based off the books. 2 graphic novels.
You want the originals if you're going to check them out at all. Disney rebranded with, I think it's Disney that I don't know for sure who rebranded with doing new Artemis Fowl graphic novels. they also decided that they could improve the books by changing a lot of things. Go to the original graphic novels that came out just a couple years after the book series started. If you wanted to check those out at all, those are the ones you want.
I actually might look into that because I don't want to read the books because I got other things to read. But you know.
If you have Amazon Prime and either of you are interested in knowing how bad this movie is an adaptation, the first Artemis Fowl graphic novel, the original, is on Amazon Prime for free.
Oh,
just
sweet.
read it.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and check it out. Then you might be mad.
All right, so let's get into our book club then. Ben, take it away.
Yeah, something that made me a whole lot happier than Artemis Fowl is The Immortal Hulk, written by Al Ewing and drawn by, I have the name, Joe Bennett. So Brandon kept talking about how great this book is. It's a body horror book about where Bruce Banner can't die, and at night he turns into the... Well, it's not like a werewolf thing, but the Hulk comes out at night, and...
No, it's a werewolf thing.
It is a werewolf thing? Okay. But the Hulk comes out at night. The Hulk comes out at night, and he just brings the fear of God into people. This book is freaking awesome. It is worth every single word of praise that you have heard on this show or others. I was at the comic book store earlier today trying to find more trades of Immortal Hulk, and they were cleaned out. So after a while I was done reading this book, I want more. I want really, really more. And
I
I'm
recommend reading more.
And the thing is, I'm surprised because this is the second Hulk book I have done for this show that I've read. I thought, yo, Hulk is actually really, really cool.
Hey, Ben, I've said it before. Spoiler alert, every character could be good with the right creative team. Every single character.
Anything can be good.
Anything could be good.
Anything could be good. And, God, I freaking love how freaky... just the first issue of Immortal Hulk.
She was 12.
Yeah, and just like those two big splash pages of Hulk just leading over the gas station robber. And then later on, we meet Walter and Sasquatch, and the fight with them in the hospital. So good.
One of the things that I really like about this book, so I've been reading it since the beginning, since it first came out. I have every single issue. One of the things I really like about this arc is that it does set up. A little humble brag there. The second issue is worth $100. I'm just saying.
Oh, I have it too. Cool. Is it really?
Yeah.
Because it's the first appearance of the...
I've got it.
It's the first... This is when speculation was... I mean, it's always rampant, but it was really bad. It's the first appearance of a new villain, the Radioactive Man. And so it's worth $100.
Oh, God. That issue was so good.
So one of the things that I really like about this is that it's implying that there is something wrong with all of the gamma-powered heroes.
Yeah.
Because this Hulk is not the same Hulk that we've been dealing with. This is clearly a different Hulk. Banner even says, like, I think he's smarter than me.
Yeah.
And that's not Hulk. So there's something new inside of him. Maybe something old, which is why when we see Sasquatch is possessed by someone claiming to be Bruce Banner's dad, he says this was always inside you.
Yes. So I've also been reading it from the beginning, but I took a break. But because of Marvel Unlimited, it's very easy to catch up. I forgot how much of the seeds were planted for the big cosmic stuff from the first issue. The stuff with the green door and like, oh, you talk about the one above all. What about the one below? Like, I forgot how much of that stuff is still relevant 30 issues later.
As above, so below.
Yeah. Man, this book is just... You know what this book really reminds me of? And after rereading again, this reminds me so much of, honestly, of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. It's about a monster trying to correct humanity's wrongs. Because it's almost like standalone single issues that build to a bigger narrative. And I got a lot of vibes from Alan Moore's original run. And this book is just so fun. And fun in a really, like, weird way that you've never seen the Hulk before. Because he is basically an angel of vengeance. He's out, like, patrolling the streets, finding crime. And it's just, like... It's gnarly and it feels dark, and there's the super personal villain stuff. Like every person that he kills has their own tragic like backstory why they did the thing they did, and the Hulk just doesn't give a shit.
I was scared.
So spooky, like the Hulk scares you, dude.
I was scared that when Hulk first shows up at this page right here, it's the page. It's one of the last pages of issue 1, where he looks into you and says, like, this guy's saying, "I'm not a bad person." And he goes, What do you think? Just that image right there. I know it's really hard for me to put up
No,
to the
I
camera.
think you saw
guys. It is horrifying. I was scared I was going to see that in my nightmares the night before.
Just that whole page of him like looking at him and listening, him just listening to his excuses. So
I think this whole trade is great, but I think my favorite issue of this trade is issue 2 with the dad. With the dad, that stuff with the radioactive dad, with the radioactive the son who where he's like, I see a green door. His son starts.
That is just horrifying.
And not only that, like, because when Bruce visits the grave, he feels the radioactive, and because people are saying, yeah, so many people are dying. Why are people dying? And you talk about the walking ghost phase, which is just terrifying. That you're a dead man walking, and then like when the EPA shows up and they dig up and they exhume the body, and he's like glowing green. He's reaching out, like trying to save. He's
alive.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
I
there's so many more moments like this to come, but this book really lays the groundwork for some really engaging stuff. Like when you see Sasquatch on Alpha Flight, and Carol's like, "You've been this. We don't see a lot of your other side anymore. We don't see enough of Walter anymore." And so when he transforms, like, okay, that was a lot harder than it used to be.
Yeah. Also, like
something has come through the green door.
No, because one of the things I actually like about the third issue is the third or fourth issue. I want to say it's the third, when Walter is talking to the reporter lady, about Bruce and how they got in that argument one time. And
this is the fourth issue, because the third issue is the one with McGee looking for all the people to try to piece together what happened with the whole church.
Oh, that was a really good issue too. All the different art styles.
Man, the girl with her head just twisted around, she's smiling.
Oh, you mean that? Oh boy, that's horrifying. This might be the most disturbing thing, when she was like, she's sitting there so peacefully, and it took me like 5 seconds to realize her head was completely turned around. That's sickening, guys. Oh my god.
You know, not only that, and the line that the priest said afterwards, where he
I haven't been able to pray ever since.
I haven't been able to pray ever since. What does that tell you? It's like, oh shit.
That's the thing. So many people equate this new Hulk to the devil.
Yeah. Again, like, speaking of the different art styles, like there's like this thing with the green glowing guy.
Yeah.
I swear he looked like James Dean.
Yeah, definitely like James Dean and that old lady talking about it. And I love the different art styles, but like it switches from like a cartoony like Saturday Night Fever pose to then again the girl with her head twisted around, and how also the tones and how everything matches. I'm like, man, Al Ewing just knows what he's doing.
Well, not only that, I love how every single piece of art reflects the person who was talking. Like the cop speaking looks like an old 1960s book where everything's a good guy. The priest is like a Sean Gordon.
Oh golly gee, he's a founding Avenger. He wouldn't.
Yeah, it's very like 1960s Stanley.
Yeah, and then the priest is like Sean Gordon Murphy, the jagged, the edgy. And of course, the old lady is like all shoujo manga, love, hearts, and everything.
Yeah, it's like anime. I love it.
And the bartender is just very minimalistic, simple, just like, sup.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some incredible issues coming up. The stuff with the, I wish we could talk about the whole series. Maybe that'll be my next pick for our book club series.
I am going to find volume 2. I'm going to pick up these trades. This has me hook, line, and sinker. I want to keep reading more. This is just Daddy. Oh
Daddy.
God!
When he says Daddy, what man?
Yeah, I hadn't revisited these issues since they first came out, so it was really nice to go back, and I need to pick up Immortal Hulk again, reading it. But it's really solid stuff. Nothing gets me more personally than the not like in a oh no way, but in like a damn way, is the end of the second issue when he's like, let me die, just let me die.
Oh, that is messed up. Like when he's in the bottom of the pit and he's like, give me the abyss, death is better than this. It's so messed up. It's just the book is excellent. It is constantly one of my favorite reads every time it comes out.
And again, going back to this first volume, this is tame compared to the stuff that happens later on. So like if you thought this stuff was wacky, like I'm just
that's the thing. Going back to it was wild, because I was like, you know what? Compared to some of the shit I've seen recently, this is like not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was revolutionary to see with the Hulk.
Yeah,
when it came out. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that moment when I first read it, and I'm like, damn, this is the Hulk comic I've been
Yeah.
wanting.
I think
Yeah.
the last Hulk book I read was Totally Awesome Hulk #1. Besides Hulk Gray.
Oh boy, I remember that book.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
Totally Awesome Hulk,
wildly
I remember,
different kind of Hulk.
is very different.
Young
Like
teenage Hulk.
Like even when I got to the end, it's like here's this little collage of like Bruce Banner asking Hawkeye to shoot him, to kill him.
Uh-huh.
Totally Awesome Hulk is the Artemis Fowl Disney Plus watered down version. This
Oh.
is the bad guy Hulk.
yeah.
No, but just see
That
like
Totally Awesome Hulk is Amadeus Cho as the Hulk.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but just like seeing Bruce Banner trying to just die, finally, just let him, like the word he's like, just let me rest, just let me go. And then everyone just keeps bringing him back into the fold. It's like
Well,
three
yeah.
times you see Bruce Banner die.
Well, one of the best things about this book so much that I love so much about this book is just like he's just like, I can die, he can't.
Yeah.
And no matter what, Bruce Banner is cursed no matter what. And it goes back to the old Jack Kirby Hulk. When Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created Bruce Banner, he would always transform into the Hulk at night, and then that slowly changed. And it went right back to that. If you read some of the background materials in some of these single issues, I don't think it's collected in the trades. But the single issues talk a lot about his process in coming up with this version of the Immortal Hulk. And it talks about how he goes back to that first Jack Kirby cover, where it says, "Is he monster? Is he man? Or is he both?"
It is that's what the title of the first volume is. Is he both? Because they do collect the first letters page with a picture of the famous cover where they ask him, is he a man or a monster, or is he both?
I love that it's just modernizing what was already there. That was just kind of like more subtext or not as intense because it was the 60s or whatever.
Right.
I love that so much.
That's what I love about it too.
Yeah.
Also, the cross issue covers are always
Alex Ross.
Yeah.
Just this one of Hulk rising from the grave, just this cover alone is gorgeous.
Mhm.
I feel like Alex Ross is a man who can draw. Everything he draws, he can do no wrong.
And he's starting to do, we talked about it, he's going to start doing the Iron Man covers when Iron Man gets relaunched. So, I got variants to buy. Oh.
No, if I had an unlimited supply of money, I remember the last Comic-Con I was at, there was this beautifully done Alex Ross painting of the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. I wanted to buy one for myself and one for my dad because he's a huge Beatles fan. And I thought that would just be one of the coolest pieces in my house.
I have an Alex Ross poster of the current Guardians of the Galaxy roster, but as their original appearances.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh,
It's kind of
Alex
cute.
Ross has been doing the Captain America covers for Coates.
Yeah.
And all of those covers are also beautiful and brilliant.
Okay. Ryan, it's your book club next week. What do you got?
Immortal Hulk is awesome.
Immortal Hulk is very awesome. So, in honor of the great Danny O'Neill, I decided to pick a book that I have not read yet. I don't think any of us has read. I'm picking Green Lantern, Green Arrow. It is a collection of, I believe, 7 comics that are from different series that all incorporate everything that involve Green Arrow and Green Lantern. I can't wait to read this. This is apparently the battle that shook a nation. So I wonder what that battle is going to be like. How in the hell does Green Arrow fight a Green Lantern? We'll find out next week on the Fake Nerd Book Club.
Okay, and speaking of Fake Nerd Book Club, we do have a new series where we're diving further into series of comic books, one graphic novel in that series at a time. That's the Fake Nerd Book Club series that you can pick up right now on your local YouTube station. That doesn't work. Whatever. Next week, we are back to our DeCamu watch through, the DC animated...
Takamu, I've come to bargain.
Hey.
I had to. No, you won't. You love me too much.
Our DC animated movie universe watch through. We are at part 3 with Justice League versus Teen Titans, Justice League Dark, and Teen Titans: The Judas Contract.
I think these are good ones, you guys. If my memory serves, I hope.
We also have our anniversary special up now. You can watch or listen to that wherever you want. That was a lot of fun. 4 years, guys. Here's to 4 more. And we're on the road to 200, guys. 200 episodes.
Wow.
By the way, congratulations, Downright Nerdy. You guys got a partnership with Squatty Potty. Congratulations.
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 All
Those
right, guys.
drive-by commercials are great.
All right, guys. You can find us on YouTube, obviously, if you're watching this, where we have other shows such as the Fake Nerd Watch and Basement Arcade. For Fake Nerds Watch, right now, our latest was Clone Wars, where we talked about the Siege of Mandalore arc. Basement Arcade is going on with Mortal Kombat 9 right now. New episode is up now. Make sure to like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Lots of cool stuff. Now there are 3 shows on this, 4 if you count the main podcast, on this channel. So you're definitely getting your bang for your no bucks.
Hell yeah.
We have a Funko affiliate link in the description. Use promo code SHOP10 for 10% off your purchase if you click the link in the description. We have Patreon and a TeePublic. Both links are in the description of that one. Or you can find everything all at www.fakenerdpodcast.com, where you can find all of our links to our Patreon, TeePublic, our blogs. I'm putting up a new blog possibly tonight if she's read it. Told her to read it 4 days ago. And all those links are in the description below. You can, thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to all the ones who watched, who popped in. Thank you to Mag, who always comments. It's been a lot of fun doing this.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you to everyone who listened to the show. Thank you to everyone who been with us for almost 200 episodes for 4 years. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our interim music. If you've been listening to this, if you're listening to this on iTunes or on the audio, then you hear the interim musics and of course the intro and outro themes. That was him. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. He has a podcast, Suburban Proctologist. Sorry, Mag said something. Waiting for the final fight of MK9. Yeah.
Couple more weeks. Almost there.
You can find his show, Suburban Proctologist, on YouTube and on iTunes, or at facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official, or at Instagram at Subproc Podcast. Thank you to Mike Matola. Mike, you're great. Thank you for our logo and our new Fake Nerd Podcast logo, Fake Nerd Podcast Book Club logo, where he gave us a cool, badass owl with a monocle.
Yeah.
You can find him at Mike Matola. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Sparks?
You can find me talking about a lovely little website called bookshop.org at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter. Do you guys know about bookshop.org?
Is this a new sponsor?
No, it's not. It would be great. Do you guys know about it, though?
Is this the thing that was just slapped with a lawsuit?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, tell your thing.
Bookshop.org is a competitive website to Amazon where you can shop for books. Their whole goal is to create an online service where you can buy books from local bookstores.
Oh.
So you're able to shop all kinds of local bookstores. So smaller bookshop stores and bookshop owners get your business, but you don't have to go there. And it's just to give you an alternative to Amazon. Their prices are pretty competitive, at least for new books. They don't have like used books on there or anything. But I just looked, and you could get all the volumes of trade of Immortal Hulk are on there. So just an example. I just think we should bring a little more awareness to that, because support your local bookstores is important just as much as supporting your local comic book shops.
True that.
Ryan?
Oh yeah, I'm DJ Tony Snark everywhere. You can find me on the YouTubes, the Twitters, the Twitches, the Instagrams, the Prawn Hubs, wherever you want to look me up. As I said earlier, the Yeti's broken, so I'm not streaming without a good mic. So let's hope that mic I paid extra money for arrives on Tuesday, because if it doesn't, why did I pay so much money? We'll see.
Ben?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at BedMagnet27. I also write for the website oldschoolgamermagazine.com. This is my first print issue that I finally got.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I'm not in that one. I just got the magazine to read it.
Oh well, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still write for the website at oldschoolgamermagazine.com, and also you can find me just talking about like video game. That's where I talk about video games, old school mostly. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I just look it up, Brandon. Bookshop.org is not involved in a lawsuit.
Oh, okay. Someone just got hit with something, and everyone blame Chuck Wendig.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Until next week, guys. Stay fake nerds.